One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody? Oops, that's the wrong camera. That's the wrong camera. It's not working today. I'm going to have to do some of this stuff manually, checking 1, 2, 3. We have volume. My buttons here got screwed up because of the storm yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to check them out. And so now I've got a different camera working. That's why you got to have this redundancy stuff, especially if you end up going live. So hopefully you all can see me. Let me make sure everybody can see me. Can you see me? Let me know if you can see me. How you guys all doing? How you weirdos doing out there? Let me know if you can make sure you can see me. Let me just check on here to make sure you guys can see me. And I'm just checking. Yes, you can see me. All right, so, boom. We're live, so I'm going to try not to have too many mistakes because I can't hit my usual production button. It'll be okay. Everything's saved. I'm good. So how you weirdos doing out there? You know, complete weirdos that you are. I'm weird. You're weird. We're all weird together. That's just how it's going to be. I guess that's how they want to make it. We are weirdos. All right, so I'm a weirdo. So let me just go over a couple things real quick. Don't forget, tomorrow we have the rally in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at, let's see what time, 5:30 tomorrow. Rally 5:30 tomorrow. Make sure you're here. Thank you very much. Show up. By the way, the only cost for being here, only cost.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
Yeah, you got to do some of that. Go ahead and click the like button right now for me. All right, so I don't know if you guys saw today, but a lot of stuff went down. I mean, a lot of stuff went down. Crazy stuff. And before I get into the crazy stuff about Trump still being a target, I think it's important that I go back and play this video because this will set the mood for everything we're about to see.
What was Melania's reaction, if you don't mind my asking? I know this is very personal, when she learned about what happened on that field in Butler?
She was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real time?
She was watching live. It was all over the place. It was on television. It was on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And when the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was your feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
Or she
likes
loves
you.
me.
That's good.
I mean, let's say she could talk about it freely. That wouldn't be, I'm not so sure which is better. But she either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But I will say this, look, she was, when I went down, she thought the worst had happened, because I went down. And I grabbed and I saw my hand was loaded up with blood. You see it in slow motion, instant replay. You know, we had hundreds of press there. So this was covered live. They would have had instant replay and everything else, which they already do in this. But supposing the worst happened, you know, one man, Corey, was killed, hit horribly,
amazing man,
horribly in the head. And, you know, he was guarding his family.
That's why how important it is to get to the bottom of why this was allowed to occur. He died.
It's important to get to the bottom of this. That's the way they closed out that clip on Laura Ingram's show. But there were a couple things that he said, and I'm not a Secret Service agent. This is something I would love to ask Dan Bongino one day. But he said something interesting there. He said she was watching it live, like we all were, and I couldn't get a hold of her until I was able to basically call her. So I just would wonder what the Secret Service, what the protocol is. Obviously, protect the guy, get him out of there. But they must have some sort of protocol where he goes silent so nobody knows where he is in case there's further attacks on him. Get him out of here, undisclosed location. We have our safety route, where we're going to do. Of course, thankfully, the Secret Service had that planned. But I just wonder, what was that matter of time? How long was it before Melania heard her husband's voice? Can you imagine sitting home at television, watching your spouse, husband or wife, do some activity, and the next thing you know, your spouse is under fire, taking shots, and you watch 5 or 6 men and women jump over him and try to keep him safe. And after what probably seemed like an eternity, you see your spouse jump up and go fight, fight, fight. But the only thing you're focused on as that spouse is, oh my God, he's bleeding. Did he get hit? I know his personality. He's going to say fight, fight, fight. That's not what's important to me right now. Is he okay? And I'm watching the blood coming out of my spouse, my husband's head. And I know that people were shooting, and I'm watching men with machine guns run up on the stage, and then they whisk him off, and then silence. He's off to some secret location on some secret route that he can't even contact his wife. Everyone is focused on, what did Trump go through? Has anyone stopped to think, my God, what was her life in that period of time between him getting whisked off the stage with blood coming out of his head and the time that he was able to contact her and say, I'm okay? I can't imagine. I simply could not imagine, if I watched Robin, something happened to her in the public view, and then I'm dialing every number. Robin. How can I get a hold of her? Call her chief of staff. Nobody is picking up. And all I can do is sit here and probably cry and wonder, am I going to see my wife again? Nobody, not any single network until this interview with Laura Ingraham, nobody talked about that. In fact, I think it was Joy Reid who had a problem because they said, oh, they're trying to humanize him. He is a human. He is a man. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a grandfather. There are people who obviously love him. And you tried to say that humanizing him was bad? You are such an evil, evil, evil person. So I just wanted to let you guys know that and let that set the stage for everything you're about to see tonight. To me, it's absolutely crazy. So as the title of this video said, unbelievably, Trump is still a target. Not an if, he's still a target. That came out today. I don't know how many of you guys may have seen it or anything, but Trump is still a target. Which led me to the second half of my title, is because, quote, they know Kamala Harris can't win. Barry, how can you say that? Well, if you felt comfortable that you were going to win, that you had it in the bag, that you were going to beat Donald Trump, if the deep staters felt it was in the bag, why would he still be in danger? Why would they still need to take him out? Hey, we're gonna win. We got Kamala. It's no problem. You know, she's hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion tonight because she can't draw flies on her own, and she's looking so good in the polls. And so, okay, so then why is he in danger? Why did the spectacle that we saw today even happen? Why wasn't the Secret Service just like Christopher Wray? Why aren't you people forthcoming? Why do you have to extract all this information? Why didn't you just walk in there and go, whatever you guys need to know, whatever we can discuss in a public forum, I'll tell you. And if I can't discuss it in a public forum, I'll tell you off camera what you need to know. So tell me, what do you want to know? Sure, Senator Cruz. Sure, Senator Hawley. Whatever you guys need. I'm here to set the record straight. But we didn't get that. So tonight you're going to, well, you won't learn. You're going to have to apply it yourself, but you're going to learn the definition of these two terms. One term is called MIHOP. M-I-H-O-P. The other term is LIHOP. L-I-H-O-P. And at this point, with what I've seen, and I hope they don't get pissed off at me, it's either MIHOP or LIHOP. Those are the only two definitions that matter to me at this point. I'm not being conspiratorial. I know what I saw today. I know what I saw on July 13th. And I have not heard to date anything different that would say MIHOP or LIHOP don't apply. See if some of you guys know what that means. Okay, MIHOP. Made it happen on purpose. It's a term that went along with some of the other assassination attempts around the world. Don't know if it was something that the CIA came up, but MIHOP, made it happen on purpose. You were actively involved in making this event happen. LIHOP, you let it happen on purpose. You didn't do it, but you didn't really care if it happened, so let's just stand back and let it go. Either one of those, whether you made it happen on purpose or whether you let it happen on purpose, is something our country is going to have to deal with immediately. Both of those spend they indicate the end, the true end of a democracy. And today, it kind of tipped the scales. So understand those two terms, MIHOP and LIHOP. Look them up yourself if you want to see them. But those are two terms, or two anagrams that spell out what we saw today. That Donald Trump, somebody, tried to take him out, and whether or not our people made it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose, there's only one of two answers. It's one of those two. I'm not being Alex Jones. I'm not here being conspiratorial. But after the evidence that we've seen thus far, those are the only two answers that I can come up with. Made it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose. So this is going to be it. Let me make sure this is working. Okay, that's one. Yeah, I'm leaning towards LIHOP. All right, so let me go and show you some of what happened today. Maybe you've seen some of this. Those of you who are on Twitter may have seen some of this. I'm going to start with some of the tweets that went out. This button working? Yes. All right. A Secret Service whistleblower just said there will be another attempt on Trump, maybe even within the next 30 days because of the corruption with the Secret Service. This thing went everywhere, and I was like, whoa, whoa. And so I have this letter. So, okay, I got the wrong thing there, so you can't see my face. Let me go ahead and fix that because I'm going to have to use that a lot today. Let me make sure this works. And voila, there I am. All right, so this is what came out today. I'm going to try and blow this up so you guys can see it and you can read it along with me. Let me see if I can pull this up over here. And there we go. Okay, you ready? This is from an unknown Secret Service agent. And I hope you can see this, but I will read it for you. Thank you for the backing and support. I'm not stopping until 5 high-level supervisors, one down, are either fired or removed from their current positions. Number 1 down would be Kim Cheadle. She's gone. This agency, in big letters, needs to change. If not now, when? The next attempt in 30 days? Question mark. Because we all should expect another attempt to happen before November. Yikes. We all should expect another attempt to happen before November. This is a guy in the Secret Service, a whistleblower. We've exposed our inability to protect our leaders due to our current leadership. The technicians who worked on July 13th in Butler did their job with their hands tied. Secret Service supervisors, quote, knew better, and the foot soldiers working made the best of a bad situation that resulted in a civilian death and a near miss of a protectee, meaning Trump, and our technician shooting and killing the suspect. All right, let me continue here. Let me see if I can move it up some. I know many look at the CS team, counter sniper team, as guys who sit on the roof and don't do much. But our responsibility, our mission, is not about protecting an empty White House located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Found that interesting. An empty, and he put it in big words, if you guys can see, empty White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's about preventing and stopping another JFK-style attempt. I'm concerned about saying the word. In whatever city that may be. Sadly, we have fallen short for years. We just got lucky and looked good doing it. I've conveyed these thoughts to not only supervisors, to include the current captain within the counter sniper unit. So this guy is probably a counter sniper. But those responsible for training us. And he lists a couple terms there that I don't know, but I know CS is counter snipers. Only to be brushed off as if those with less experience somehow know more than me. The team I was once proud to be a part of is something I have to somehow hide as I move into my next career. Who wants to hire a Secret Service counter sniper who failed? So yes, he is a counter sniper. That's the public perception I'm now faced with. The counter sniper team is a stain I will never be able to cleanse. Some of us take our job and responsibility seriously, deadly serious. I may be overzealous, but after 7 years in the Marine Corps as an NCO and 20 plus years on a Secret Service counter sniper team, failure is not an option. And on 7/13/2024, we failed, not because of commitment or sense of dedication, but because our supervisors, aka leadership, knew better and thought our concerns were less than important. The model of the Secret Service is CYA, and every supervisor is doing it right now. What a letter. What an absolute damning letter this guy just wrote. And so that goes to this tweet. Yes, I'm still live here. All right. And he said, there most assuredly will be another attempt before November. Trump is still a target. We can't get away from that. He is still a target. And then this was written by Susan Crabtree. And let's go take a look at this. This was the actual letter. Susan Crabtree is with Real Clear Politics. She covers the White House, and she's a national correspondent for The Hill, Roll Call, Washington Examiner. She's got the cred. And she has exclusive. A Secret Service counter sniper sent an email Monday night to the entire uniformed division, not the agents, saying he will not stop speaking out until 5 high-level supervisors are either fired or removed from their current positions. This is extremely serious. This is something that isn't going to go away. And you could tell by the anger that happened today that they realize now they're caught. They are absolutely caught. My hop or lie hop. That's the only explanation at this point. The failures were so catastrophic that you have to believe at this point it wasn't by accident. Too many things would have to fall for it to be by accident. And now that you've got a whistleblower out there saying what's going on, it's causing even more problems. Saw this by Jack Posobiec earlier. He goes, the Secret Service acting director is being extremely disrespectful to the Senate. You're going to see that. Your agency failed and a man was murdered. You do not get to go up there and yell at senators. Fire him for this. What a complete buffoon. The problem with firing him for this, who would fire him? Nobody gets fired in the Dementia Joe administration, which it's still the Dementia Joe administration at this point. Mayorkas? He ain't gonna fire him. Garland? He ain't gonna fire him. Dementia Joe probably doesn't even know what happened. He's not gonna fire him. So everything stays as it is. And Trump is just put in the way. In harm's way, actually. Sean Davis followed up with this. He was responding to something that Mike Lee said. Mike Lee said, Secret Service let Trump take the stage 17 minutes after receiving multiple reports of a suspicious person with a rangefinder. They didn't remove him from the stage even after local law enforcement realized he had a gun. Perhaps they didn't have an open channel of communication between them, which is in itself stunning. Moments before shots were fired. Now let me just tell you something. Back in the day, when I was just a younger steroid monkey running around and working concerts and being bodyguarded and all kinds of things, back in like the early 90s, late 80s, we all had comms then. We all knew, hey, so-and-so is about to take the stage. Hey, there's a goofy guy in the front of the stage. He doesn't look right. Keep your eye on him. This guy's jumping on stage. Hold talent. Meaning don't let the talent come out right now. We have to clear the stage. Same thing in the parking lot. Hey, bus is pulling in. Oh my, we got some people too close to the bus. Hold talent. Hold the bus. Don't let it move any further. If in 1990, 80, I was doing that with comms, you're telling me that they didn't have an open channel of communication between law enforcement and Secret Service and local police? We did. How would you possibly get a hold of somebody if somebody fainted and needed medical attention? Yeah, medical, and you call somebody out. This is absolutely stunning. And they still can't, or won't, lie hop, tell us why a window with a clear overview of the sniper's so-called pitch roof was initially staffed with snipers, but abandoned before the shooting. Conveniently. Coincidentally. So he says here, They didn't remove him from the stage after local law enforcement realized he was there, and they still can't or won't tell us why. A window with a clear overview of the... Oh, that's Mike Lee. Let me go back to what Sean said. All right, Sean says, if the Secret Service wanted Trump to get shot in the head and wanted it to make sure an assassin had the opportunity to do so, what would have been different? Meaning, if you want to see somebody get offed, if you want to see this actually happen, what would be the difference in what you did on July 13th and what you would do if you were planning it? Not much different. Not much at all. Nothing as far as I can tell. They would have done exactly what they did. That's kind of scary. When we can sit back and say, hey, this doesn't look right. And we can hear guys like Dan Bongino and whistleblowers like this, and they're explaining to people something ain't right. Something ain't right whatsoever. This one is from Laura Loomer, which a lot of people don't like, but she reports well. Breaking. President Trump just retruth on Truth Social. They call it, retweet is a retruth. This photo that insinuates Christopher Wray may have been involved with or even ordered the attempt on Donald Trump. We can't trust the FBI. The attempted thing was an inside job. This, you can see it right here with my mouse. Donald J. Trump retweeted it. And it's an image that says, what did you know and when did you know about it? If you want to know who ordered it, if you want to know who ordered the thing on Donald J. Trump, why would Trump have reposted this, retruthed it? What is he saying to people by sending that out to a gazillion people? Remember, this is someone who knows the impact of his words. He knows how people are going to take this. He just stepped full circle into my hop, lie hop. Did you make it happen on purpose or did you let it happen on purpose? Either way, I think you let it happen or you made it happen. And I'm going to let my millions of followers know it. And that includes you and that includes me. He didn't say it. He just posted it and put it on his platform. So obviously he felt or feels as though somewhere somebody inside made a mistake. This is from Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk just held the Turning Point event where Trump just spoke at the Christian Believers event, right? So he was here in West Palm Beach, and Trump just spoke at it. The Secret Service is testifying right now in front of the Senate. We have hosted Trump 3 times this summer and multiple times since 2017. We hosted him again this past Friday. This past weekend was the most lax I've ever experienced in security with Secret Service. My entire staff and events team agrees. Nothing felt improved. If anything, the security was more porous. No noticeable improvement since Butler. Instead, it seemed even more laid back. I wrestled with whether or not to voice my concerns publicly, and I certainly don't want to inspire some crazy attempt something evil. But after reviewing the text messages from Butler SWAT, who they've been saying everything as well, and hearing additional concerns from my friends Dan Bongino, Eli Crane, Corey Mills, and many more, I felt the need to say this publicly. I can tell you that I know a few Palm Beach County sheriffs and deputies, rather, I know a few deputies, not the sheriff, and they have echoed this same sentiment. They said it seems as though these guys didn't want to work and didn't really know what they wanted, what they were supposed to do. We must keep Trump safe. If that's augmenting his detail with private security or sounding the alarm, my firsthand experience confirms that not nearly enough has been done, and there's not nearly enough urgency. There are brave and honorable agents in the Secret Service, but Trump legitimately needs more manpower around him ASAP. Whew. This is just in the first few minutes I'm showing you all this. It's got to be a little bit unnerving. It's got to make you feel like, what's going on in this country? Again, why would these people show up at this hearing? Why did Kim Cheadle, why did she show up at that when she did her hearing? Why are they so argumentative? What are you hiding? What don't you want the American people to know? We know more about what's going on in Venezuela with Maduro than we know about your protecting Trump. We can see it. We can see everything that's going on, and you guys are being complete spooks. You're living up to the name spooks. You're like ghosts. You're not saying a word. You're not even telling senators. Then you're fighting with senators. Doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't make any sense. Tammy Maselli says, that's why I never sleep anymore. How come the Walmart crooks brought a lot of ammo from just weeks before and that day did not report the transaction? I mean, Trump is in town. So much. Where is the audio communication? Or wasn't there one in real time? You're asking the right questions. You are asking the right questions. I can't give you those answers because none of it has been forthcoming. They're all compromised. Trump would be safer with the Wagner Group protecting him. Muslim, meaning Barack, wants a civil war just like's going on in Venezuela. Can't disagree with you there. Jane says, I think Crooks was a patsy. They're always patsies. James Earl Ray, Jack Ruby, Sirhan. These guys don't look capable of the things that they did. And of course, this guy Crooks doesn't look like it as well. It makes sense if you're guilty. Yeah, I guess that is the answer. So, Carla, how you doing? Carl says it's a big cover-up. Yeah, it's... Who and what are they covering up? That's what we need to find out. I don't know how we're going to find it out, though. So let me continue. There's a couple of good ones here. I love this one. This is from Clay Travis. Why aren't we getting testimony from actual Secret Service agents on ground that day? The sniper who killed the shooter, for instance. Would love to have him testify. Obviously, he's not in a clandestine or cloaked position. He didn't have a mask or anything on. He was standing on top of the building. So, it's not someone who you have to worry about keeping his identity safe. He was standing right there, the two of them, hat on backwards, ready to take a shot. Everybody can see the guy. People can take pictures of him. He's right there. So why isn't he testifying? Questions, all the questions. Instead of hearsay testimony from political officials trying to cover their asses, we need actual eyewitness testimony from agents on the ground. Everything people were posting today made complete sense. This makes complete sense. Why is this guy not here? Why are we not talking so we could ask him, what did you see? When did you see it? How did you take the shot? When did you decide to take the shot? Did you have to wait for approval to take the shot? How long from the time that you acquired vision on him did you take the shot? These are all questions that should be answered forthwith. We shouldn't have to work to extricate it. But now that Trump is still in the race, that he didn't die, and one of your compadres, another counter sniper, has said there's going to be another attempt before November. It's definitive. This guy, I'm sure in his line of work, as he gave all his credentials, how long he just wouldn't say that. Since he's put it out there now as a whistleblower complaint, why are we not finding this out? Why are we finding out after the fact? It doesn't make any sense to me. And Sean was hot today, Sean Davis. The FBI lied about Trump being shot. Remember? Oh, we're not sure. It might have been shrapnel. Why would you lie about that? And lied about the politics of the assassin. Why do you think the FBI is so invested in people not knowing the truth about the plot? Why are they so invested in people not knowing the truth? Sean dropped something interesting there that I don't know if you guys followed up today because there was so much information flying around. So much information flying around in terms of who this guy really was. If you remember back to July 13th and actually probably July 14th, we were told first thing they couldn't wait to get it on MSNBC. This guy's a registered Republican. Oh, your crackpot investigators found that out. You find out anything else? Nope, that's it. Okay. And by the way, he's 20 years old, but he's probably the only 20-year-old person in the world who has no social media footprint. None whatsoever. He's invisible. That's what you were told. That's what I was told. We all knew it was BS. I don't know a single person under 30 who doesn't have a footprint on social media. They may use different handles, but they're all there. Some may just lurk, but they're all there. Okay, so today they got these guys basically to perjure themselves and then try to cover up their perjury because young Mr. Would-be shooter, or he was a shooter, would-be assassin, indeed has a social profile. And what do you know? This guy doesn't like Trump whatsoever. This guy is a Biden supporter. This guy was pro-immigrant. It all blew up today. It all blew up. So, the CEO of, and I think he's the founder as well, of the social network Gab. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Gab being a social network, but when the C thing happened and people had to go out there and other people were getting kicked off of Twitter and everything else, they formed a social network called Gab. And a lot of people went there and a lot of people went to Parler. True Social wasn't around yet. So you were looking for places that Trump supporters could actually speak to people. And one of those networks, and it's still alive, is called Gab. Well, Andrew Torba is the CEO. I think it's CEO or founder. What is he here? CEO, Christian father. I'm once again asking for your prayers. I am taking a big leap of faith with this and see it as my patriotic duty to my country to share this information. All glory belongs to Jesus Christ for giving me the courage to speak the truth. And right now, tonight, pray for this guy. I hope something bad doesn't happen to Andrew Torba because he blew the doors off the alphabet agencies today. He has this guy's social profile. Has it all. Has it all. All right. This morning, he goes, breaking, the FBI is now claiming, you guys see this? That this, let me make it bigger here if I can do it. Okay, breaking, the FBI is now claiming that the Trump shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, had an unspecified social media account in 2019 and 2020 when he was 14 or 15 years old that posted anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic content. So they tried, the FBI tried to say, oh, we saw his stuff. He's basically like a Trump supporter. He doesn't like immigrants. And then Andrew said, well, I guess I'm going to have to come public and blow this out the water. That is not consistent with Gab's understanding of the shooter's motives based on an EDR, which is an emergency disclosure request we received from the FBI last week for the account Epic Microwave, which based on the content of that EDR, the FBI appeared to think belonged to Thomas Crooks. That's where it starts getting interesting. All right, so many particular regime media reporters have doubted Gab's claims that this request even existed. So the media tried to cover it up. Oh, that's BS, not true. Yeah, no, it's true. No, it's not true. Normally, we don't confirm the existence or content of law enforcement communications. However, in this instance, we had to make an exception due to the overwhelming public interest in disclosure and transparency. As a courtesy to law enforcement, we are not going to post the entire request. This is the first page of that request. The story is this: the account for which data was requested from, unequivocally, in big words, unequivocally, big letters I mean, is pro-Biden and in particularly pro-Biden immigration policy. You got that? The thing with this is that this came out on July 24th. This is when they sent it to him. So he dug it up. To the best of Gab's knowledge, as of 2021, Crooks was a pro-lockdown, pro-immigration, left-wing Joe Biden supporter. Boom. Boom. Here's a letter that they sent to him, which was the EDR. On July 13th, Thomas Crooks did this, he did that, he did the other thing. For the time period from the inception of the account to the present, please provide the following records and information for all Google accounts associated with the following email addresses and or user identification numbers. Username Epic Microwave. This was July 24th. The FBI had found out that this guy did have a social presence, didn't tell that to the public, didn't say it in the hearing when Christopher Wray went to Congress, completely ignored it. No, he doesn't. He was a loner. He's all by himself. No, he just seems to be pro-Trump, And they knew. They knew. Now they knew, hey, listen, we know his code name or his username is Epic Microwave. We've seen some of this stuff. Now we need to figure out a way. Can you extract it and give it to us? Can you get us all this information? Man, oh man, oh man. This is not good. This means they absolutely lied. For whatever reason, they lied. And Andrew Torba, like I said, please pray for him. But I'm going to go into a little bit more of his profile here. This is his profile on Twitter, the CEO. And this was what I just read to you. This is Martha Blackburn, who she knows about it. This guy came in blindsided. He didn't know that they knew. I'm going to show you some of this stuff. It's crazy. This here, the media is reporting that the FBI claims Crooks was anti-immigrant. Here's what he actually posted on his Gab account with regard to that topic. And so I can blow it up here and show it to you. Epic Microwave is Crooks. First of all, Biden executive orders don't incentivize are interested in citizenships. Likewise, the majority of immigrants are not criminals, and in fact, some studies, blah, blah, blah. It is also unclear if the extensive path to citizenship is in fact effective at rooting out potential bad actors, hence why there is a review of the system, comparing crime rates between, he's just going on and on and on. And the thing with this is that there's just, now that it's coming out, man, there's just so much information. It's just a bounty of information. I'm going to post this. Let me pull this up. I'm going to post this because we could spend all day here going over this. This is one of his threads. This is the one I just read to you, and he gets kind of nasty with people. Okay, so for one, the turnout in 2020 election was 60. I mean, he just goes into all this stuff. The reason all the deaths are down is because you are stuck in your house. So he was a big lockdown person. And down here, let me see if I can blow this up at all. Without it, okay. Let me just show you this one. I am sorry. Explain to me how Trump was ever concerned with the left wanted, or anybody in the GOP for that matter. So he doesn't like Trump. And the FBI knew it, and they covered it up. And like I said, I'll post this because there's just so much. I mean, it's just pages and pages and pages of stuff at this point that you guys could take a look at for yourselves. As I said, what I try to do when I put up these shows is give you information so that you can begin looking into it yourself. They didn't expect all of this to come out. This one here. I wanted to show you this. I keep bringing up Elon Musk because his platform is so huge. Elon Musk says it sure looks like the FBI leadership engaged in perjury. Our FBI and possibly the DOJ, we knew have been crooked. We knew what's been going on, and now they've got caught red flippin' handed. Trying to manipulate things. Again, my hop or lie hop. Did they make it happen on purpose? Did they let it happen on purpose? Because at this point, there would be no reason, none, to be doing what they're doing. This has been seen thus far by 10 million people. I keep telling you about how strong his numbers are. When he posts something, people listen. That's why I think Trump needs to go back on Twitter, because when he posts something, people will hear it and listen. And then someone who does get Trump's ear, Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek paid attention, watched everything that happened today, and then finally just posted this. Shut it down. It's done. Is that why? And that's where you have to think at this point. As more and more people call for the three-letter agencies to be shut down, reformed, is that why he's in danger? Have they now figured out, hey man, the gig is up. If this guy becomes president again, we're all going to fry. Maybe not legally, but he's going to start chopping. Is that why Strzok and Lisa Page got $1 million settlement? He got 1.2. Lisa Page got 800,000 or something. So that, basically settled, go away, immunity, you can't talk anymore. Did you know that? Did you know that Peter Strzok got $1.2 million? Do you know that Lisa Page got $800,000 to shut up? They're planning ahead. That's why people ask me, Barry, why do you really think Trump's going to win? Well, he wouldn't be in danger if they didn't think he was going to win. They wouldn't be doing the moves that they're doing if they thought Kamala was really going to win. They could have 25th Amendment Joe at any time. They didn't do it. He's still president. We still need to pull the strings. We don't want her really there. And then with this whole weird campaign and everything she's been doing and the volume of stuff that's coming out about her, is she really the candidate? I don't know. None of this makes any sense. Make it make sense. I guess that's what I'm saying. If somebody can make sense of this, let me know. You got the FBI lying. You got the DOJ cutting sweetheart deals with people. You got judges doing funky stuff. None of it. I mean, one thing alone would be, that doesn't make sense. But then you got all this other stuff happening. Then you find out that Dementia Joe and Kamala got hoodwinked by Maduro, and they paid him a ton of money. And they said, listen, we'll give you money if you just make sure things happen right. And all of a sudden he gets overthrown. And the very next day, they send $1.7 billion over to that country again? Why would you just... Dude, you're going to be out of office in a couple of months. Why are you still sending this guy billions of dollars? You got the whole Act Blue thing falling apart. I mean, just literally falling apart. People are finding out that fraud. You got the state of Georgia admitting, there was voter fraud there. None of it's making any sense. It's like they're running around with chickens like their heads are about to explode or get cut off. Either way, none of it is making any sense. It's beyond me at this point. I consider myself someone who's got somewhat of a thinking noggin. And I sit back and I talk to some of my friends and I go, "Did you see this? Why would they give Peter Strzok $1 million too? $1.2 million. You remember Peter Strzok, the guy with the funny eyes, who lied and he and his lover were doing all this stuff about the insurance policy. And we can't have these people talking. All right, so Andrew McCabe gets a cushy job at CNN. And Andrew Weissman gets a cushy job on MSNBC, and now Peter Strzok and Lisa Page get paid big money all to shut up. Now? Why now? What was it that caused you to do all this? Are you worried what's about to happen? Well, obviously. Otherwise, you would not have been guarding Donald Trump the way you have been guarding him. You would understand the need to protect this guy. But you saw Cheadle. She took it on fell on her sword, resigned. Yeah, I'm out of here. Whatever. I lied. Give me a fat severance pay. I'm gonna go over here, go back to Pepsi. She used to work at Pepsi. just walked away. Nobody's ever mentioned her again. DOJ, did you look the prosecutor for lying in front of Congress? Nope. No, we're going to let that go. How about the guys today? How about all these dudes today that you brought in? It's all falling apart. As I've been saying, they can't poke their fingers in all of the holes that are popping up. Everything keeps happening. $1.7 billion. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned Israel, which probably at this point is bombing the F out of Hezbollah. And what did Kamala do? She blew him off. What? She talked crap to him, got stern with him. The very next day, Israel gets bombed, and now they're just ramping it up. Be afraid. Watch what's happening. Watch the markets. Pay attention to the markets. Understand things are getting squirrely. Make sure you're prepped. Make sure you've got food. You've got bottled water. I'm telling you, I have never been one of those people. And everything I'm seeing now, when my wife asks me, what do you think about this? And I have to look her in the eye and go, I don't know, honey. It just doesn't make any sense. It seems like we're just rudderless, just, foundering out in the ocean. This big country called the United States just seems to be doing this. I don't know. All I'm saying is get ready. So when I get back after this break, I'm going to show you a bunch of video, and you're going to see what these guys said. Hold on one second. This is really important tonight. It's been important. I've been telling you, you got to get some gold. You got to get yourself prepped. Our entire garage is, I shouldn't tell people, is full of prep stuff. You need to do that. You know that inflation is still on the rise all across America, and our dollar is being devalued more and more every single day by the Federal Reserve and their massive money printing schemes. So you have to ask yourself, are my investments really safe? I doubt it. Listen to this. Government debt is growing at the rate of $1 trillion every 100 days. Since 2020, every dollar in your wallet has lost 24% of its purchasing power. And in just the last 18 months, what you need to survive as a family, your groceries, your necessities, have gone up by $11,000 per family. These are unsustainable and outrageous numbers. That's why I'm recommending that you call my friends at Lear Capital. They'll show you how easy it is to move some of your assets into gold and silver. Assets that are growing in value instead of keeping them in a dollar, which is declining in value. And as we approach the election, and with all the volatility in the world, now is the time to take some action. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. When you go to Lear, you'll be able to download a de-dollarization guide. It will show you specifically how your dollar is deflating every single year. There's no obligation, it's just free information. You'll learn how to protect your hard-earned money with gold and silver. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. Call Lear at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you give them a call, ask how you can get $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. All right, and we're back. Okay, so I don't say that lighthearted. I mean, get prepared. Get prepared financially. Get prepared with God. That's probably number one, most important. I'm looking at something that Boxer Brigade said here. And he says, every night when I pray, I always use the expression with God that we are a rudderless ship. Yeah, we are cast about right now, and nobody is leading us at all. You can tell with what happened at the Olympics and what's happened around the world right now that it's a spiritual war with good against evil. I mean, think about it. When is the last time, and I had to think to myself, when is the last time there's been this much strife, war, craziness going around the globe as it is right now? We've had an attempt on a former president, future president life. We have Israel being bombarded and bombing people back. We have idiots protesting against that stuff. We have a country that we're giving billions of dollars to fight a war they can't win. And it doesn't seem to be any end in sight for any of it. And then, of course, you have the Olympics with that crap show that they showed and really stained, in my opinion, the Olympics. I haven't turned down one thing. I wanted to see Simone Biles win. I wanted to see Katie Ledecky swim. I wanted to see so much, and then I made the mistake of saying, well, I know it's Paris. I know they're hours ahead. Let me turn on. Let me see what I can see. And I turn on, and there's a boxing match going on. I'm like, yeah, I like boxing. Except it was a dude beating up on a woman. They let a transformer into the boxing matches for the Olympics. This dude was beating up on a woman. And I went, okay, that's all I had to say. I'm sorry I turned it on at the wrong time. You know, I wanted to see Katie Ledecky. I know she's a great swimmer. I wanted to see Simone Biles. I know she's a great gymnast. But I happened to turn it on. I gave you another shot. After I saw that craziness at the opening ceremony, I gave it another shot. I gave it another shot even knowing that LeBron James didn't stand for the national anthem, of which he was the flag bearer. I gave it another shot. I turned it on, and there's a man in the ring beating up a woman. And I'm thinking to myself, how did they let this happen? How did they let this guy get in the ring and box a woman? Yes, it is good versus evil at this point. It surely is. One more thing, my fellow weirdos, pray to God as well. Pray until the very end. Yes, be weird. Be as weird as you can be. Don't accept this. Johnny Strayhorn, is this true? I haven't seen it. New Jersey just ruled that the AR-15 ban is unconstitutional. Oops, sorry, Kamala. You know, you want to take away people's AR-15s and everything else and confiscation. Oh, yeah, there's a video. The video tomorrow, I'm going to have to start doing almost like a daily video on the stuff that comes out about Kamala. I'm going to have to call it the Kamala dump. Because videos came out today where she was talking about, in the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to basically begin confiscating guns. Yep, out of her words. Straight up. This woman can't win. The more stuff that comes out about her, there's no way she can win. I mean, it's just ludicrous stuff. She talked about, I'll let you wait till tomorrow, but the other one was, on film, she wants taxpayers to pay for transformer surgery for prisoners. For people who've been put in jail for committing a crime, you expect me to pay for their transformer surgery. And you. It's completely idiotic. Completely idiotic. Janet Polk said JFK was offed because he was going to dismantle the CIA and wasn't Bush head at that time. Yep. Maybe that's why that guy said, you know, it's going to be, and there's going to be another attempt. So let's go on and let's talk about some of these videos here that I have. This one here, which one is it? All right, so this is the first Secret Service guy talking to Congress. This is very interesting.
I want to provide a brief highlighted overview of the timeline that has been established to date through witness interviews and other information. Again, this is our understanding at present and is subject to change and further refinement as more facts are collected. On July 3rd, the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was announced. On July 6th, the shooter registered to attend the rally and performed a search for, quote, how far was Oswald from Kennedy? On July 7th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there for approximately 20 minutes. We assess this shows advanced planning and reconnaissance on his part. On July 12th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Clairton Sportsman Club, where he practiced shooting. On the morning of July 13th, at approximately 10 a.m., the shooter returned to the farm show grounds and remained there for about 70 minutes before returning home again.
I have a question. It's July 30th. The shooting was on July 13th. Did Kim Cheadle not know any of this? Because now you're getting a timeline, basically 13th, and now it's 17 days later, almost 3 weeks. Now we're finally getting a timeline. Did Kim Cheadle not have this information the first time? That'd be a question they should ask.
At approximately 1:30 p.m., while at the residence, the shooter's father gave him a rifle for the purpose, he believed, of going back to the sportsman club.
The sportsman club is the range where he took target practice.
About 25 minutes later, the shooter purchased ammunition while en route to the Butler Farm Show grounds. The subject then arrived at the scene, was moving around the farm show grounds close to the American Glass Research AGR building, from which he ultimately committed the attack. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 3:51 p.m., the shooter flew a drone approximately 200 yards from the farm show grounds.
So Kim Cheadle, during her testimony, yeah, so did the shooter fly a drone? No, can't talk about that. We don't believe so. You lied again. So he did fly a drone. So let me ask you a question. I gotta say this. This is just insane to me. And I'm just gonna lean on my past event production experience. So you have forget it was President Trump. Forget it was a Secret Service protected individual that was going to be doing this event. But at 3:30, 3 hours before he was supposed to take the stage, right? Right. So assuming you've done these before, you've had people talk, you understand that people were there like at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Right, okay. When I've done events, and we have our call sheet is basically who shows up when, where, and what you need to do, it's hours and hours and hours and hours in advance. In fact, when you do a concert, if you were going to take the stage at 8 p.m., you're usually loading in at noon. It takes a lot of time to run the wires, set things up, get your stations all put in place. So you're telling me at 3:30, you just said at 3:30, the dude flew a drone. And you're telling me that nobody, Secret Service, police, or otherwise, guy setting up the bleachers, nobody went, that's interesting. There's somebody flying a drone around right here. I know we've got a president showing up in a couple hours, and there's a guy, somebody, somewhere, is flying a drone. Right then and there, flag, bells, screaming, this ain't right. We got somebody doing reconnaissance over the area that President Trump is going to speak at. Nothing? It's okay. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Seriously? And the thing with all this is I know I've had to protect individuals. Not a president. I wasn't in the Secret Service. But I was at one point at the Preakness. I was Howard Cosell's bodyguard. I understand how these things work. No, it wasn't governmental, but there were some high-profile athletes and celebrities I've had to walk on stage. And I'm telling you, at the Preakness with 100,000 people there, a drone coming flying over would have caused people to say, "Step back. Y'all need to hold up. There's something going on here." In fact, something like that could, in fact, shut down the event. We, down here in South Florida, have two huge air and sea shows where the planes, the Blue Angels, and the Thunderbirds and all kinds of fly and do all kinds of acrobatics. And they clear the airspace. Not a couple hours before the event. They clear the airspace that entire week. You want to get in Fort Lauderdale, you need to fly around. But you're telling me that you saw a drone come down and take surveillance 3 hours before Trump was supposed to take the stage. I took some time because I want to show you how absurd that is.
For about 11 minutes. The drone and controller were later found in the subject's car. Analysis has not revealed any photos or video taken by the drone, but we can confirm that he was live streaming at the time and would have been able to view it on his controller.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Live streaming? I'm live streaming. Where the hell did he live stream it to? You see how he just blew past that? As if nobody, well, I guess they don't. Nobody asked the question. You said you don't have a copy of it. Somebody's got a copy of it. If he was indeed live streaming, there's a copy of it. He obviously didn't have time to delete it. So somebody has a copy of this live stream. What do you mean you can't get it? Right now, if something were to happen to me, somebody could pick up this live stream from its source, follow the IP address back there, and say, oh yeah, we got a copy of what Barry was doing at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. Yeah, we got a copy. We can get that to you. Whew. They think we're idiots.
The first reported sighting the shooter by local law enforcement was at approximately 4:26 p.m. At approximately 5:10 p.m., the shooter was again identified by local law enforcement as a suspicious person around the AGR building. And at approximately 5:14 p.m.
Oh, wait a second. Why was he, and nobody asked, why was he seen to be a suspicious person? Was he not just a rally goer? What was it that you saw or your guy saw that made him suspicious?
A local SWAT operator took a photo of the shooter. At about 5:32 p.m., local SWAT observed the shooter next to the AGR building using his phone, browsing news sites, and with a rangefinder.
The cops saw him browsing news sites. Okay, here's my phone. It's right here. How would you know what I'm browsing? I mean, you guys can see my phone. I'm doing it right in front of you. How do you know what's on the other side of this? How do you know I'm looking at news sites? Do you realize how close you'd have to be to see what I'm looking at? Sometimes I don't think people tune in to question what people are saying, but he just said he was surfing news sites. How do you know? Nobody asks. That's why some of the Republicans are pissed off about who's going to be on this task force, because if you don't know the questions asked, you can't get the answers. I would have stopped him right there. Whoa, hey. How did you know what he was surfing? Nobody asked.
At approximately 5:38 p.m., the photo of the shooter taken earlier was sent to local SWAT operators in a text message group. Subsequently, approximately 25 minutes prior to the shooting, the U.S. Secret Service command post was notified of a suspicious person. Officers lost sight of the subject from approximately 6:02 p.m. to 6:08 p.m., but
excuse me, boss. Yeah, I got this suspicious person here. You know, he's out here wandering around the building. Check, go. Okay, you got eyes on him? Yeah, we got eyes on him. Check, go. All right. Let me know what you see. Continue to monitor. Check, go. Oh, we can't find him. What? We're not talking New York City dodging in between buildings. He's not hiding behind a dumpster. You've seen the overhead of this place. It's a building in the middle of a field. How did you lose sight of this guy that you considered suspicious? And when you were told, yeah, boss, yeah, we can't find this dude. At that point, hold Trump. We've got a suspicious guy. We don't know what he's up to. He's got this rangefinder thing. He's been flying a drone. Yeah, keep POTUS or ex-POTUS in the vehicle. No. Yeah, keep POTUS. Don't bring him onto site yet. Hey, there's a guy we've just seen flying a drone around, and he looks suspicious, and we can't find him now. Okay, let's see what happens. Make sense to you? Not to me.
continued to communicate with each other in an attempt to locate him. Recently discovered video from a local business shows the shooter pulling himself up onto the AGR building rooftop at approximately 6:06 p.m.
Hold on. Okay, so you've got all these cops around who can't find this suspicious man. Don't even know where he is. And this ninja is crawling up the side of a building. Where were they looking? Seriously, this guy turned into, basically Kung Fu David Carradine, and he's like ninjaing up this building and none of you know where he is? This doesn't make any sense.
And at approximately 6:08 p.m., the subject was observed on the roof by local law enforcement. At approximately 6:11 p.m., a local police officer was lifted to the roof by another officer, saw the shooter, and radioed that he was armed with, quote, a long gun.
Hold on a second. So Ninja Assassin here decides he can get up there however he gets up there. But the cops who are trained in security have to boost each other up and look over and see what's going on. They didn't have the capacity to get up there the way he did. I'm just saying what he says. This is me sitting back this afternoon and driving my wife crazy going, did you hear what he just said? And I'm like, honey, you remember when this happened and we had to do, what do you mean? He just scurried up like a rat. And your guys, were dropping donuts trying to get up there, huh? Okay.
Within approximately the next 30 seconds, the shots were fired. The evidence recovery team found 8 shell casings at the scene next to the shooter's body. We believe the subject, the shooter, fired 8 rounds.
Oh, whoa, stop there. Stop. I've watched enough of CSI. I've watched, what's the one, NCIS. Criminal Minds. I watched these shows, Law and Order. Where the hell's your ballistics? What do you mean you believe he fired 8 rounds? Have you not determined at this point that those 8 cartridges came from that particular gun? 17 days later? You believe? What do you mean you believe? You either know or you don't at this point. If not, why don't you know? How do you not have the ballistics report back that confirms that those bullets, those cartridges, were fired by that gun? This stinks.
While the investigation has not determined motive, the investigative team continues to review information from legal returns.
I bet you I could tell you the motive. He wanted to kill Trump. There's his motive. You don't have to be Raymond Burr or Ironsides or Don Johnson or what's his name, Tubbs. You don't have to be the bad boys. He wanted to kill him. That's his motive.
Including online and social media accounts. Something.
Oh, what'd you just say there? Oh, let me just back that up a couple of seconds. Listen to this.
Including online.
Oh, no, I want you to hear that. Let's go up back here. Okay.
The investigation has not determined motive. The investigative team continues to review information from legal returns, including online and social media accounts.
All right, so you did have the social media accounts. You just told everyone in Congress you've been reviewing it. How long have you been reviewing it? Because you just saw it yourself. The guy from Gab said, yeah, he's been talking crap on Gab.
Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe. There were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
Lie. Bingo. Gotcha. You don't even get the steak knives. You lose. You just got caught in a lie. Why the guys right there didn't put him in handcuffs and say, hey, listen, we know that's not true. We have those comments, and it wasn't what you just said. It's not at all anti-immigrant. You just lied. So I want to know, who are you covering for and who told you to lie? Bingo. Done. Lock him up. You don't get the pass go. You're a liar.
While the investigative team is still working to verify this account to determine if it did in fact belong to the shooter, we believe it important to share and note it today, particularly given the general absence of other information to date from social media and other sources of information that reflect on the shooter's potential motive and mindset. These are the facts, in part, that the investigation has revealed to date. While the shooter is dead, our work is very much ongoing and urgent. Thank you, and I look forward to answering any and all questions.
All right, so that's how he started the day. And he didn't realize that these people have already dug up a little bit of stuff on him, and they're about to just jump all up in his butt and let him know what they really think of him. So before I get to the next video, this is going to be the acting director. Let me hear what you guys got to say. Okay, where's that? Hillary has to be behind a hit. There were 8 rounds from the sound on the TV. Then the one shot came almost 30 seconds after the 8 were fired off. They're saying at this point that one that afterwards was from the counter sniper. Okay. Let's see. This gets me so angry now. Oh, no, don't get angry now. You got more. Oh, you got more coming up. If you haven't seen it, you're going to get real angry. Get yourself a beer because we got some time to go here. I got some more stuff here. Barry, I think you should push DEI. Didn't earn it. Yeah. Okay, somebody asked, so they must have been late getting on. Okay, he was. Let me reply again what this is. My hop or lie hop? My hop. Made it happen on purpose. Means you're an active participant in having something happen. Made it happen on purpose. Lie hop. Let it happen on purpose. You weren't involved in it, but when you saw it transpiring, you just let it happen. So for instance, let's say you're in a restaurant and you see a guy that you used to know. And that guy that you used to know is pissed off at your best buddy. And you look to your buddy and go, hey, listen, let's go rough this guy up. Let's take him in the bathroom and pound on him. You are making it happen. Or you see your buddy who's with you follow this guy in the bathroom. He's like, I'm going to go rough this guy up. I'm like, all right, go ahead, do what you got to do. And he goes in the bathroom and roughs the guy up. One of those is a my hop. You made it happen on purpose. You decided you were going to beat the guy up. The second one is you knew your friend was going to go beat him up, but you didn't try to do anything about it. You just let it happen on purpose. Very distinct, very different, same result. That guy's going to get his butt kicked. Whether I go and do it with you or you go on your own and I just step back and let it happen, that's lie hop. My hop is we go and pound this guy together. So in regards to this thing was this an actual setup? M-I-H-O-P, made it happen on purpose? Or did they realize what was going to happen and say, let's just stand down. Let's see what happens here. Because at this point, with everything that this guy just said, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. And you can't rule it out at this point. Be Joyful says, yeah, the U.S. has an evil government. Yep. Who is acting director covering up for this PUAP? All right, so the acting director is the guy who's coming up next. Good question. So this guy comes out and gives his song and dance, lies to Congress. Now, we're going to go to the next guy here, who is actually the acting director, who is a Biden supporter. He about to get his. He's not really happy with what is about to happen. So this guy is talking to Amy Klobuchar. How do you say her name? Klobuchar, a Democrat senator who still doesn't like what's going on. So let's take a listen to what Amy says.
For the people in my state that keep asking me, I just don't get how he got on the roof. I know we've gone through great details and a lot of examination. Could you just give a minute on what went wrong and how you think it can be fixed? Because I think it's just going to help to dispel the conspiracy theories. There are some people that think it didn't really happen, which of course is completely ridiculous. It did. There are some people that think all kinds of conspiracies went on within the government, which is also false.
How do you know that? If you knew that, Amy, then you wouldn't be having this hearing. You see how she just slid that in there? Oh, you know, there's people out there like Barry and some other people who are saying all kinds of conspiratorial stuff that we know is false. You know about as much as I do. What do you mean you know it's false? But that's how they like to play it.
But could you just tell them what went wrong so they understand?
Yes. No, thank you, Senator.
This is the new acting director who is a Biden supporter who took over for Kim Cheadle. And this guy's actually worse.
I thought long and hard about this. I think this was a failure of imagination. A failure to imagine that we actually do live in a very dangerous world.
Imagine your only job is to protect a president. Imagine you have no other job because it's a failure of imagination. What are you imagining? If you told us that 3 weeks ago that Iran was going to take shots at Trump, if you knew there were people out there who wanted to take shots at Kamala, there's no reason you have to imagine. It's real and it's your only job. You have no other job. Your job is to protect the person you're assigned to. Period. Not to fly a plane, not to go out there and tune guitars. Your one job, keep that person safe. So this was the stupidest opening statement I've ever heard. It's a lack of imagination. So you had to imagine that somebody would be possibly interested in taking a shot at Trump?
Where people do actually want to do harm to our protectees. I think it was a failure to challenge our own assumptions. The assumptions that we know our partners are going to do everything they can, and they do this every day. But we didn't challenge our own assumptions of, we assume that someone's going to cover that. We assume that there's going to be uniformed presence.
That's not your job. That's not your job. You can't assume. This guy just started talking, and as he's talking, I'm screaming at the television. I am absolutely screaming at the television. You don't have to imagine. You don't have to assume. All you have to do is do. Any of you guys that are police officers, you know what I'm talking about. You may not even be a Secret Service person, but you know you don't have to imagine, and you definitely don't assume. Well, you know, I think that guy's going to cover the roof, so I'm not going to do it. No, that's not what you do. That's not what you do. You don't assume. You're trained not to assume. Dan Bongino, I'm sure, would tell you that. What do you mean you assume somebody else is going to do it? Are you shitting me?
We didn't challenge that internally during that advance. So moving forward, I've directed that when we're talking to people and we're making requests, we are very specific about what we want. We are providing explicit instructions on exactly what our expectation is and what we need them to do and what we want them to do. That's the only way that we're going to be able to move forward beyond this.
Question. Good. That's not what you've been doing? Think about what he just said. Moving forward, we're going to make sure everybody knows what they should be doing and how they should be doing it and what their responsibilities are. Seriously? You're the friggin' Secret Service of the United States government? And just now, you're going to determine and make sure that people know what they're supposed to be doing. That just came out of his mouth. And you could go, if your friend's a cop, if your friend's a detective, you can go down to the smallest town and you can ask them, should somebody need to tell me what I should expect here? What might happen? I'm doing an off-duty thing and I'm guarding this jewelry shop. What should happen? Well, if people come up and try to rob it, get rid of them. Oh, okay. Should I just shoot? Yes. If they're bringing guns, defend yourself and the place you're protecting. Now I'm being euphemistic and cutting it down to an elementary level, but my God, this guy who is now the director, acting director of the Secret Service would terrify me if I was Trump. You know, from now on, we're going to make sure everybody knows what's going on. What? So you didn't make sure. You didn't make sure last time. I got a rally tomorrow in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Now I'm going to have to hire Dan Bongino or someone to come in and go, make sure these guys know what the hell they're doing. Make sure Deputy Dog's got his shit together. Because they just realized that they have to have their shit together. They didn't know it before.
And let me just tell you that our state and local law enforcement partners are the best. So this belief that somehow they are less than federal law enforcement or they're less than the Secret Service, they're out there patrolling communities every day. They're the ones out there going into hazardous conditions every day. They know their communities. They have the ability to enforce state and local laws. Our advanced agents do not.
Ooh. Now, I can't answer that. I would love if somebody here can tell me, is that true? If you're a cop, if you've worked on these things, Ray, if you're in here, you tell me, is that true? Are you telling me if a Secret Service agent, I assume is law enforcement, and he sees, he's in the streets of Butler, Pennsylvania, and he sees a man beating up on a woman. If he sees somebody in the progress of robbing a bank, if he sees somebody getting ready to shoot somebody in an alley, are you telling me, hey, I can't do anything. It's not my case. I'm not responsible. This isn't my area. Because that's what he just said. We can't do it. And I'd love to know if that's true. I mean, you guys can tell me if there's any cops in here, is that true? Because he just said it. If I see a woman getting beat up, if I see someone starting a fire, I can't do anything, man. I'm sorry. My jurisdiction is what? You're a law enforcement officer. Are you telling me you're not there to protect people at all costs? Man, I'm looking to see. I'm just wondering, man. Anybody? Tracy has something really interesting to say. Went by so fast. Let me see here. The Secret Service is supposed to have a zero failure policy. And this guy sounded like this is the first time he's ever done it, or at least he wants other people to think that. Let's continue.
Right. We need them, and we need them to be partners with us. And I think we need to be very clear to them, and that may have contributed to this situation.
Yeah.
The team lead and team lead met. They walked the site. They identified the AGR building. And if I may, Senator, if I could point out something right now, if I may, and we will place this for the record, but this is the point of view. This is from the second floor of the AGR building. This point of view is the point of view where the counter sniper team locally was posted. The gold arrow indicates where the shooter fired from. Looking left. Why was the assailant not seen? When we were told that building was going to be covered, that there had been a face-to-face that afternoon, that our team leads met, this was the view. Let me show you another view, Senator.
So you're assuming you have a high-profile protectee, the former president, possibly future president of the United States, and you're taking their word for it instead of having agents make sure. Is Deputy Dog over there making sure nobody's on this roof? Okay, that's what you're saying.
B.
He's getting flustered here. Look at him. You can look at his face. This guy's pissed off.
This view is a reenactment by one of my agents. Laying flat. There was a 5-inch rise on the middle of that roof.
Mm-hmm.
The assailant would have had to present his bore over that to get his shot off. The view underneath reflects the perspective that he would have had. Again, I call your attention back to the first exhibit if they'd have looked left. Give me C.
So he's saying they couldn't see him.
This is what our counter sniper team saw. Shooter, no elbows. You barely make out the crown of his head.
All right, so here's the problem I'm having with this. I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the counter snipers couldn't see well on that roof. Give these guys credit. Whoever took that final shot, fantastic. That's not the question. I mean, he's obfuscating here, easily obfuscating by saying that, hey, listen, it was a tough shot and we could forget that. The fact that the guy got on the roof, the fact that he walked through the entire event area with a rifle. This guy wasn't some, master sniper who basically put the gun back together on the roof. Doo-doo-doo, I'm gonna walk across the field. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Doo-doo-doo. I understand that he was a small person who was basically be able to hide under the riser. Okay, that makes sense. It doesn't make up for the fact of how did this idiot get on that roof and how did you not know? So he's basically getting pissed at this point because he can't answer the questions that people are actually asking of him, and he's trying to, basically deflect at this point. Hey man, we're not talking about the kid's noggin just being a little bit over the riser, and you couldn't present his elbows. That's already too late. If you're saying we couldn't take the counter shot in time, I'm also going to call BS on that. Why, Barry, why would that be BS? Maybe they couldn't take the counter shot. Start firing at the dude. Make him take cover. Make him not be able to take a shot. You know why? It might give you enough time to get people up on the roof. He thinks everybody is stupid. You know what's funny? Hey, if you started shooting at him right away, I'm pretty sure the other guys were like, hey, what the hell's going on up there? Oh, let me put down my coffee and my donut and go see what the hell's happening on the roof.
Below it, the assailant up prone. And let me just tell you, our counter sniper, this individual, I know him. I consider him a friend. He has covered me operationally in conflict zones. And when I did my time on the president's detail, he exemplifies the courage, the skill, and the ability to respond under great stress in such short time to neutralize the threat and prevent further loss of life. Getting back to your question, Senator, these were discussions that were had between the Pittsburgh field office, the local counterparts, and everyone supporting that visit that day. And that's why when I laid in that position, I could not, and I will not, and I cannot understand why there was not better coverage, or at least somebody looking at that roof line when that's where they were posted.
Okay, so you basically said, sir, I'm incompetent. That's what you just said. You just told a bunch of senators up there, when I went up there and I saw it, I thought to myself, why wasn't somebody on this roof? I can't understand. It's your job to understand. It's your job to make sure that there's nobody on that roof. It's your job to make sure that some kid 20 years old acting alone is walking around the grounds with a rifle, scurrying up the building to get on a roof. You knew for 3 hours earlier he was flying a drone. Just go ahead and resign now, man. Just go ahead and quit. The one thing you've admitted in open court, basically, is I'm incompetent. There's not a police force, unless it's a union. Maybe that's why they can't fire these people. But come on, man, this is stupid. No one saw the right. Now you're talking my hop. No one saw the rifle because it was already on the roof. They only needed one security person on the roof with a radio and a sidearms to report any possible threat. They only need to have a couple people just guarding the building's perimeter. Didn't even have to worry about the roof. My job is to stand here to make sure nobody comes and gets on the roof. How about maybe you put something and cover the ladder so you can't do anything? You didn't do anything. But I love what that other guy said. Yeah. MK Ultra. I mentioned that in one of my earlier videos, and I told you guys, go look that up, man. Go look it up. It's crazy. Pongo Ella says, that come through? Where'd it go? Okay. For some reason, that didn't come through. Maybe it got blocked. Barry, you need to go. Are these things working? Barry, you need to go back to the beginning of that picture. Shooter got on the air conditioner and then the storage shed and then the roof, and the cops didn't know about it or use it. You're asking questions that are too good. This kid, who wasn't in the best of shape, didn't look like he had taken any ninja training. There were people everywhere, because you've seen the videos of Trump supporters going, hey man, there's a dude over there. Oh, what dude? Where? I don't see nobody. He's on the friggin' roof. Oh, the roof? How are we going to get up there? It was an assault ladder. Wait a minute, who just said that? Oh my God. Oh, this is one of the best. You win. You win. It was an assault ladder. Oh, sometimes you guys crack me up. Oh, God. Oh, Dan Bongino probably threw stuff at his TV while watching. How come some of these comments just don't come through? Maybe people aren't in. Man, that's funny. Get this wimp a-hole out of here. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Dan Bongino was losing his mind this morning. I got to go see that video. It's crazy because as you're listening to these guys talk, I was losing my mind. I just could not believe that they were acting like this. And now you're going to start seeing the second half. Now you're going to see Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and Mike Lee absolutely rip these guys to the point where they're shredding. It's so bad. Well, I don't need to talk. I can just show you.
American is dead, that other Americans were critically wounded. Isn't that enough mission failure for you to say that the person who decided that building should not be in the security perimeter probably ought to be stepped down?
Senator, I think you're using the word decided, and I think we need to allow the investigation play out to include.
So who did make the decision then? If it wasn't the lead site agent, who made the decision not to put that in the security perimeter?
Senator, you're zeroing in.
This guy's about to have a really bad day. A really bad day. He's got to face Hawley and Mike Lee and Ted Cruz, and these guys don't play. And they're about to rip this guy just, ugh.
On one particular agent, I want to find out exactly what was the entire decision process. So I think I want to be neutral and make sure that we get to the bottom of it and interview everybody in order to determine if there was more than one person who perhaps exercised bad judgment.
Well, sure. My question is, why don't you relieve everybody of duty who made bad judgment? So, yeah, you're right. I am zeroing in on somebody. I'm trying to find somebody who's accountable here. And you're telling me that the person who made the decision not to include this in the perimeter has not been relieved of duty. What about the person who's in charge of the interoperability of radio frequencies between local law enforcement and Secret Service? Has that person been relieved of duty?
No, Senator, because interoperability is a challenge, is a greater challenge than just one person. On that day, we had a counterpart system. It failed.
As the person who made the decision to send Donald Trump onto stage knowing that you had a security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir, they haven't.
Nobody gets fired in the Biden administration. Nobody is held accountable for anything. I bet you if they had a Transformer parade and, you know, people made wheelies in the street or something over the freshly painted sidewalk, you'd bet you'd have somebody there, wouldn't you? But no, nobody gets fired. Trump gets shot at.
Person who decided not to pull the former president off of stage when you knew that, in your words, the locals were working a serious security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir. Again, I refer you back to my original answer that we are investigating this through a mission assurance, and as opposed to zeroing in on one,
what more do you need to
individuals,
investigate to know
exactly what the
what more do you
decision-making
need to
process
investigate
was?
to know that there were critical enough failures that some individuals ought to be held accountable?
If you ever run a business and let's say you find someone stealing from you, what more do you need to say, listen, you're fired or suspended until we get to the bottom of this? That's all. Maybe I'm just going to suspend you right now because I'm not really sure how bad this is, but I'm at least going to suspend you. You might not get fired yet, but you're going to be suspended without pay until I get to the bottom of this. Nope, not with the secrets. Nobody in the federal government seems gets suspended or fired for complete ineptitude. But this guy goes, hey, we'll get it better next time. My gosh. You know, Robin asked me, she goes, you really going to show all this? I'm like, it was on TV today. So it's not like, you know, people didn't have a chance to see it. Maybe they were at work or something. They didn't get to see it. And as I was putting it together and adding things up and saying, here, we're going to do this and do that, I remember what I said the other night. And I alluded to the movie The Matrix. And in that movie, Morpheus, who's like the head of the Matrix, he talks to Neo. I'm going back to the first Matrix movie, which you guys need to go watch. A lot of that parallels what we're seeing right now, even with Kamala. And I told you a story how I did it with my wife. You can take this blue pill and go to sleep and wake up tomorrow like nothing even happened. Or you can take this red pill and let me show you how deep this rabbit hole really goes. I think there are a lot of people in America, after what happened with Trump, who are waking up having taken that red pill and going, oh man, this is getting really deep. Oh man, this is, how much more? Oh, there's a lot more to go. As I've said, has become my catchphrase. There is no such thing as a conspiracy. It's just information you don't know yet. You see, when Amy Klobuchar said, oh, people have conspiracies, but, you know, we already know that's false. How do you know when the guy sitting in front of you is not giving you any answers? If you had all the answers, you could package it and go, now we know exactly what happened. No, there is no lie hop or my hop. There is no conspiracy. Here it is. It's packaged. We got to the bottom of it. You said there's no conspiracy theories. It's false. And you don't know anything. Nothing. You have no answers and you're just trying to stop people from thinking. Amy, you need to go take a red pill and realize how much our government is basically lying to us on a daily basis. So let's continue with Mr. soon to be not too happy being questioned by Josh Hawley.
I mean, what more do you need to know?
What I need to know is exactly what happened, and I need my investigators to do their job. And I cannot,
a lot of people didn't do their
cannot
jobs.
put my thumb on the scale. Otherwise,
what do you mean put your thumb on the scale?
You're asking me, Senator, to completely make a rush to judgment.
Rush? It's been 17 days. At this point, and this is where I go crazy. If I hire you as my director, my GM, my vice president, you work under me, I'm assuming you are competent enough to make those decisions. You don't need to wait and wait and wait. Hey, listen, I've done this for 20 years. Okay, like they asked Kim Cheadle, you've done this for how long? Oh, 27 years, okay. And you can't determine in 27 years of experience whether this guy needs to go or that guy needs to go? Think of it if you were a head football coach of an NFL team and you've been a coach for X amount of years, you've come up through college, you're assistant coach, you're a coordinator, and now you're a head coach. And you bring in more defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, and then this guy shows up to be a wide receiver, and he can't friggin' catch. Do you need weeks and weeks and weeks to decide whether or not we need to keep this guy? This offensive lineman, he can't block. He's getting beat. He's slow. He's weak. You need 7. No, you know from experience that guy's got to go bring somebody else in. Give me some new meat. And this Secret Service director, interim Secret Service director, because the first one's gone, is now saying, I need time to evaluate. So you're telling me you don't have the competence to understand where somebody has failed, and they failed so badly a person got killed, but you still need more time. Yeah, that makes no sense.
About somebody failing. I acknowledge this was a failure of the
Is it
Secret
not
Service.
prima facie that somebody has failed? A former president was shot.
Sir, this could have been our Texas school book depository. I have lost sleep over that for the last 17 days,
Then
just like you
fire
have.
somebody to
and I will
hold
tell
them
you,
accountable.
Senator, I will tell you,
Ooh, this is fun.
Senator, that I will not rush to judgment, that people will be held accountable, and I will do so with integrity and not rush to judgment and put people
I can't believe
unfairly
that you
persecuted.
are unfairly persecuted.
Unfairly,
We've got people
sir,
who are
we
dead.
have to be able to have a proper investigation into this, Senator.
This guy is yelling at a senator. He is yelling at an elected sitting senator, and he's a backup pitcher for the other guy who got pulled. And he's so defiant, he's so pissed off that he feels he can yell at a senator. That's where our government is right now. They have no right to do what he's doing. And basically telling him, F off, I'll get to it when I get to it. And Trump's got a rally tomorrow with these people?
Senator.
You said earlier that you've got to make sure that your protocols are followed, and unless there's a protocol violation, people wouldn't be disciplined. I would just say to you, I don't really care that much about your protocols. I think if your protocols don't provide for the fact that when a former president is shot, when an American is killed, when other rally goers, innocent people who just showed up on the day, when they are shot at and critically wounded, if that isn't a protocol violation prima facie, you should revise your protocols.
Senator, I think this is where you and I agree. This was a failure, and we will get to the bottom of it.
Well, I hope you're going to...
So what other job can you go to your boss, essentially, the senator here, and say, yeah, I failed. I failed catastrophically. I failed, and the people underneath me failed. Everything sucks. We all failed. Okay, well, pack your shit and get out. Where do you go and work in any capacity and say we failed to the point where people died? A man died. A former president was shot. 2 other people were shot. The killer was shot. Would-be killer. No, he's a killer. Where else can you go and have that kind of failure in your position where your boss doesn't go back? Never mind, don't pack your shit. Just give me your key card, get out, I'll have the stuff brought down to you. Don't come back here anymore. But instead, this guy's telling a sitting senator to basically F off.
Do something about it. Let me ask you something else. The Real Clear Politics reports this morning that you were directly involved in denying additional security resources and personnel, including counter snipers, not just to this event, but over the last 2 years, that President Trump's team repeatedly asked for these additional resources, and you personally were involved in denying them. Is that true?
Senator, as I stated earlier, that is not true.
So you never denied any resources to former President Trump's team?
Okay, so I asked you once, did you ever deny Trump additional assets? No, I've never done that. Hawley comes back like a lawyer. You sure? You never denied requests from the Trump team? Never did that? You positive, bro?
No, not me. No, sir.
And you weren't involved.
No, not me personally, because you weren't in charge. She's gone. And you notice his entire body language. I'm glad it froze at this point. That's a man who realizes right now, oh shit. His head is down. His eyes are closed. His lips are perturbed. They know, don't they? Yeah, they know. Right there. You can see it all in his face. Damn. They got me. Yeah, they got you.
Involved in any of that? You were never involved in the decision making?
No, sir, I was not.
Let me ask you just one or two other things here quickly. Well, whistleblowers tell me that, in fact,
he didn't know there was a whistleblower. Now he's about to go, oh, no. Oh, sure. What did I say?
Enforcement were stationed to be on that roof, and that law enforcement abandoned their post because it was too hot. Is that accurate?
Senator, I have heard that as well. They posted up inside. And I think moving forward, as I said earlier, we're going to ensure that state and local counter snipers are on roofs.
Okay, wait. You hear what he said. You heard what the question is, and he didn't answer it. From now on, we'll make sure. We'll make sure that somebody who's within 150 yards of the stage, we'll make sure. That's not what I asked you.
But do you know if someone was supposed to be on the roof? Do you know if someone was in fact? That's what the whistleblowers tells me. That may or may not be accurate. Posted to the roof, local law enforcement or whomever.
I do not know that to be a fact.
Well, can I ask you why you don't know that?
You're the director. That was a no way out question. If you know, tell me. And if you don't know, why don't you know? You're the boss. One of the bosses. The other one took off. Kim Cheadle, she's gone. So, was there somebody there? No, why not? I don't know. Why not? You're done. He's boxed into such a corner right now. You can just see it on his face. He is a perfect candidate for the Southwest commercial right now. Want to get away? Yeah, he'd love to get away right now.
Again, Senator, we are looking at this, and they should have been on that roof. And the fact that they were in the building is something that I'm still trying to understand.
I just want to express my frustration, Director, that 17 days or whatever it's been, that whistleblowers are telling us more than you are, and you don't know, you haven't ascertained if there was supposed to be law enforcement on the roof. That seems like a pretty basic fact. I'm also told that local law enforcement suppliers offered the Secret Service drones, and you declined them. Is that true?
So, Senator,
answer the question. It's pretty simple.
One, I've been very transparent and forthcoming.
Your agency has not been transparent and forthcoming, so please, let's not go there.
I have been forthcoming, sir.
That remains to be seen. You've been on the job a few days. So far, you've fired nobody. Now, the drones.
Thank you,
Were you offered drones?
Senator
So there was an offer to fly a drone on that day.
And why did you deny it?
Again, I think the ability of local law enforcement to provide an asset, we probably should have taken them up on it if it was offered.
Yeah, we should have done it. Yeah, we didn't. Why didn't you? I'm sorry. Screwed up. Poor guy got killed. President got shot. 2 other people got shot. Shit happens. My hop or lie hop? That's the only question I'm having at this point, and I'm bringing it to you guys. Did they make it happen on purpose, or did they let it happen on purpose? Because it's obvious nobody tried to stop it. Nobody went out of their way and said, "We can't let this happen. Let's keep this guy in the SUV. Don't let him out until we figure." Nope, didn't do anything. The Senate must also have body language experts to review this man's testimony. You saw it. You know this guy was lying through his teeth. He couldn't help it. He's protecting somebody. The same way Kim Cheadle was protecting somebody. There's somebody above them who said, "Don't worry, we'll get you the Peter Strzok type thing. We'll get you $1 million when you sue us. But right now you're going to have to take the heat, and then if you have to resign, you resign. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. Just don't say nothing. But I'm going to look stupid." Oh, well, you could die. Yeah, look stupid or die. I want pancakes. Elizabeth is saying, lie hop. Okay. I'm beyond angry. Oh, you still got a couple more. Barry the man. It's definitely my hop. It's just incredible at this point. He's protecting the Biden administration. He's protecting somebody. You know, a lot of people didn't have a chance to watch this. You're at work or something, and there's people talking about it on Twitter, but you can't really focus the same as when I can pause it and freeze it for you so you can see it. You can see someone's face. When they do that, I'm done. You know I'm lying. I know I'm lying. Everybody watching knows I'm lying, but I have to keep lying. Come on, man, unburden yourself. What does she always say? You get unburdened by what you burden with, or whatever it is Kamala said. Unburden yourself. Right there. You got everybody out there. Blab it. Say it. Say it. We'll protect you. We'll protect your family. Say it. What the hell happened? What are you afraid of? Your reputation is poop right now. You got no reputation. Everybody knows you're a piece of crap. We know you're lying, and you're letting us know you're lying. The sad puppy dog face. You got nowhere to go. Just give it up at this point. Be a man. I'm tired of all the stuff where people talk about toxic masculinity. Be a friggin' man. You took this job knowing your only role was to protect the person you were assigned to. And you're making every excuse possible. Somebody is asking you a direct question, looking you in the eye, and you can't be a man. So that tells me that you're covering for somebody. I understand, bro. We're gonna try and help you and your family out. We'll do something in witness protection, but you can't come clean. We're showing the world right now, and I'm showing it that you're full of it. There's no capacity for you to be this incompetent. You've been doing this for 20 some odd years, and all of a sudden, y'all just forgot what you're supposed to do. You're I got no words. I literally have no words for what these people are doing. It's crazy. FBI guy knows if he gets double crosses, they will unlive him and his family. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see it at this point. And even Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat, she's probably sitting there going, I can't do this. This is really, really bad. And it is what it is. I agree. Biden's people were involved. And again, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what we are seeing just doesn't look good. What we're seeing from these people and how they're reacting, if you weren't involved in any way, shape, or capacity, how forthcoming would you be? Hey, listen, again, I keep going back to the job. And you're running a company, and your director comes and says, hey, listen, we had this new product all set to go, and we were going to bring it to market. And on the day we were going to bring it to market, you know what happened? Somebody broke into the locker and stole the recipe or whatever. Just be forthcoming. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Versus, hey, I got here and the door was open and something's missing. Well, why was it open? I don't know. Who was in there? I don't know. Did you check the cameras? The cameras weren't working. I forgot to turn them on. I'll do better next time. It's incredulous at this point. It doesn't make any sense. You're a 20-something-year veteran. And again, those of you who are in law enforcement, no, you can't give answers like this unless you're covering for somebody. All right, so let's move on so you guys don't have to be here all night. Let's go to Mr. Cruz at this point. Mr. Cruz is going to take no prisoners, and he's going to have this guy for lunch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Rowe, thank you for being here. I agree with what you said at the outset, that the individual Secret Service agents demonstrated remarkable personal courage, putting their bodies in between the line of sight of the shooter and the president. That being said, the bravery of the line agents is quite different from the decisions of Secret Service leadership. Secret Service leadership committed catastrophic security failures, indeed the worst security failures for the Secret Service since 1981, since the attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. It is incumbent upon this committee to determine why those security failures happened. Just after the shooting, Secret Service put out an official statement from your spokesperson that says there's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Was this tweet accurate?
With respect to Butler, Pennsylvania, it is accurate, sir.
It is accurate that the Trump team had not asked for additional security and had not been rebuffed.
If you're talking about Butler, Pennsylvania, all assets requested were approved. If you're talking about the media reporting of assets requested, there were times when assets were unavailable and not.
Did the check. The answer is yes. So what that means is the question that Senator Cruz just asked you, you tried to, again, dance from it, but you mean for Butler? No. The question was, have assets been refused the Trump campaign? Well, not in Butler, but yeah, we may have done it in other places.
Able to be filled, and those gaps were staffed with state and local law enforcement tactical assets.
So I'm reading from the Washington Post, July 20th, 2024. Secret Service said to have denied requests for more security at Trump events. The opening paragraph, top officials of the U.S. Secret Service repeatedly denied requests for additional resources and personnel sought by Donald Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to his attempted assassination, according to 4 people familiar with the requests. Is that right, that repeatedly the Trump detail asked for more resources and repeatedly Secret Service leadership turned that down?
That is not accurate, Senator. Assets are required.
How did the Washington Post get this information? Somebody leaked it somewhere, whistleblower, but how did this information end up in the newspaper so Ted Cruz could read it back to you?
Requested. There's a process that is made. And
how many requests did the Trump team or the Trump detail ask for?
I can get you that number in a queue.
You don't know now.
So I can speak to the ones that were reported in the Washington Post, and we can go through them if you like.
But you don't know how many requests there were.
In general, how many requests?
Come on, man. You're the acting director. Before that, just below the director, and you don't know how many requests the Trump team has made for certain protective assets. You don't know that. You're lying or you're incompetent. Either one, you can't keep doing this job.
Since 2021 that the former Trump detail has made a request for assets?
You've had 2 weeks. You had a spokesperson put something out that is false on its face. By the way, did you approve this statement when it went out?
I don't know if I did or didn't, Senator.
Has this spokesperson, is he still employed? Does he still have a job?
He is still employed, Senator.
Again, I can only relay it to you from a corporate perspective. You can't put anything out on letterhead unless it's being approved by the communications PR, someone in your organization. So for you to say, did you approve this? I don't know. Well, who did? He didn't just take it upon himself to go on Twitter and say, oh, here we go. We're going to put this out right now, okay? No, somebody had to approve it. You can't do that. And if you're telling me you didn't, then who did? Who approved him to put this out? And if it's false and erroneous, as you're saying, you just said that, right? You said it's false. It's not true. Then why didn't you fire the guy who erroneously put out something false on company, basically, I won't say letterhead, that's a tweet, but the company profile, Secret Service? Why is a guy who put something false out on the company administration profile not fired?
So he lied on behalf of the Secret Service. He still has a job. Did your predecessor, the former director, did she approve this statement?
Senator, our comms team, they send out statements. They do deconflict them and they put them out.
Did she approve this statement?
I don't know if she did or did not, Senator.
And you don't know if you did either?
I don't recall approving it, Senator.
I don't recall. That's basically the get out of jail card for people who are stuck. You either did or you didn't. No, I didn't do that. Yeah, I did that. I don't remember. I don't recall. So if I come back at you with, well, I got your signature right here approving it. Oh, yeah, now I remember. Everybody knows that tactic. Everybody who's ever gone into court, here's what you say. Don't admit. Say, I don't recall, unless they can refresh your memory. Then when they refresh your memory, all you say is, well, oh, now I remember now.
Will you commit to provide this committee in writing every written request for additional resources from the Trump campaign or the Trump detail and every response from Secret Service?
Senator, I will commit to providing responses and getting you the information that you are seeking.
When?
Let me ask you something. And who makes the decision to deny those requests? Did you make that decision?
Which requests? Are you talking about the ones that were in the
Any of
Washington
them?
Post?
Yes.
So the process, sir, is that a detail will make a request for either staffing, technical assets, that is handled between the field office and the detail. It goes up to a logistics office between our
Okay, so there's a bureaucracy. Is there a decision maker?
It's not a bureaucracy, Senator.
Give me the
it's a
person
process.
that's a decision maker. Is there one?
Senator, it's a conversation.
Either somebody makes a decision or somebody doesn't. How does something happen? At the end of that process, no matter how many people have to go through that process, who is the person at the end of the yellow brick road who says, yes, you may do that? Can you tell me that? I understand. Hey, listen, I need more of these cups. We need to purchase 1,000 of them. Okay, it's above my pay grade, so I'll pass it on to the next person. Hey, how much is it going to cost? Looks like it's going to cost about $1,000. I only have signing authority up to $750. Let me pass it on. Eventually, somebody is going to get that landed on their desk. And that person is going to have to say, yes, I approve, or no. It's pretty simple. Who's the last person that has to go through to get something approved?
It's not just an absolute yay or nay.
So let me tell you what I believe. I believe that the Secret Service leadership made a political decision to deny these requests. And I think the Biden administration has been suffused with partisan politics. Did the same person who denied the request for additional security to President Trump also repeatedly deny the request for security to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose father was murdered by an assassin and whose uncle was murdered by an assassin? Did the same person make that decision?
Senator, what I will tell you is that Secret Service agents are...
Pretty simple, isn't it? Pretty simple. Why are you continuing to talk? At that point, obviously not the same person, because JFK was 60 years ago, so that person wouldn't be there. So it would be very simple for him to say, no, Senator Cruz. The person who made the authority on security for JFK is no longer with us. The person who made security decisions for RFK are no longer with us. All right, what about RFK Jr.? Who is the one who said he couldn't have security? Whose decision was that?
Not political.
Okay, you're not answering my question. But you know what? Leadership appointed by the president. Leadership appointed by the president is political. I have a simple question: yes or no? Did the same person deny the Trump request that also denied the RFK request? That's a yes or no question.
Senator, that is not a yes or no question.
Yes, it is. If one person is in charge of saying yes, RFK Jr. can have security and Donald Trump can have security, are you saying there are more people involved in this decision? Give me their names. We'll bring them in. Because obviously you're not in charge. You've just told us you're not the man. Kim Cheadle, she was the woman. She's gone. You're now in her place. So are you now saying that you can't make those decisions?
One, there is a process for a candidate nominee to receive protection.
Does the buck stop anywhere? Does the buck stop anywhere?
Bipartisan process that the Hill
participates. It's a bicameral, bipartisan process. What cameral?
For a candidate,
you are not a Congress. You don't have a cameral.
Mr. Kennedy submitted a request that was referred over to the CPAC.
Okay, you're refusing to answer the question. Let me ask, because the failures on that day were catastrophic. By the way, is it true that on the day of the Butler event that Secret Service transferred agent for President Trump to the First Lady?
No, sir, that's not true.
How do you know that? See, if that's not true, how do you know that one? Because you're quick with that answer. Oh, no, we didn't move people to cover Joe Biden. Okay, so you know some stuff. You know who made the decision to make sure that we didn't move assets to cover Joe Biden. But who is the person who said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can't have Secret Service protection? Pretty simple.
and widely reported.
It's not true. There was one airport agent that actually went on the manpower request for the Trump detail. They handled the arrival at the airport.
What was the
and
relative size of the Trump detail compared to the detail that is assigned to the president or the first lady?
Senator, the former president travels with a full shift, just like the president.
So the exact same size? Is that your testimony, that President Trump had the same size detail that President Biden has?
On the day of in Butler.
Be afraid. Be afraid at this point, because there is something really, really going on. We don't know. I don't know how we're ever going to find out. But as I said earlier, Trump posted something. For some of you guys who weren't here earlier, let me see if I can find that, because this is something you guys, let me take a second and show you this. Bring it back up. After what you've heard over the last couple of hours, where's my picture here? Okay, so Trump, Laura Loomer posted this and said, President Trump just reposted this photo on Truth Social that insinuates FBI Director Christopher Wray may have been involved with or even ordered the attempt. And he goes on, this is what the picture looks like. And you see Donald J. Trump retruth, which is the term for Truth Social reposting. What did you know and when did you know about it? If you want to know who ordered the attempt of Donald Trump. So Trump knows something. He obviously knows that something is up. He understands that something is going on, and he understands that he's watching these hearings and he can't get answers. Our senators can't get easy answers. Who are they protecting? It's very simple. Did you move anybody? He can't answer anything.
The agents surrounding him, it is the same number of agents surrounding the president today. There is a difference between a sitting president who also not only...
Hold on, you're using president in a way that is not clear. Is it your testimony that in Butler, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump had the same number of agents protecting him that Joe Biden has at a comparable event?
I'm telling you the shift, the close protection shift surrounding.
That's yes
what you
no.
asked me, Senator, and I'm trying to answer it.
You are not answering it. Is it the same number of agents or not?
Senator, there is a difference between the sitting president of the United States.
Then what's the difference?
The difference?
2x, 3x, 5x,
National
10x?
Command Authority to launch a nuclear strike, sir.
I'm not
other assets.
Nobody's talking about that. We're talking about protection.
That's
how many more
travel
agents?
With the president that the former president will
you are
not
refusing
get.
to
But
answer
the number
straight.
of Secret Service
Sir,
agents protecting him.
Stop interrupting me.
Go ahead,
you
Senator.
You are refusing to answer clear and direct questions. I am asking the relative difference in the number of agents between those assigned to Donald Trump and those assigned to Joe Biden. I'm not asking why you assign more to Joe Biden. I'm asking, is the difference, is it 2x? Is it 3x? Is it 5x? Is it 10x?
Senator, I will get you that number so you can see it with your own eyes.
It made me breathe earlier. It made me breathe again. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm not trying to breed any conspiracy. As I've told you, I just want to bring you information and for you to make your own decisions, an intelligent decision, and say to yourself, this is normal, looks fine. Barry, what are you talking about? Or you start looking to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. There's no explanation for what's going on. And we can't get an explanation. It's atrocious at this point. Man, no, he does not have a clue. None. No, actually, he does have a clue. He's terrified. This man is terrified. He can't protect his own family at this point. Trump's got to be seeing this. He's got to be talking to people and go, hey, listen, these guys are too afraid to even speak. If they're so afraid of speaking in public, how can you expect them to protect you at a rally? That would be my problem. If I'm Melania, Eric or Don Jr. or Ivanka, it's like, wait a minute, I'm seeing these hearings, and these people are protecting somebody more than they're protecting you. They are terrified to tell the truth. absolutely terrified to tell the truth. They would rather go to jail for perjury than tell the truth. How can you expect these people to protect you on an ongoing basis? You're going back to Butler. Who knows what they have in store, what they have planned? I don't know. They thought they were going to take Trump out. That's got to be the explanation. He wasn't supposed to be here, as he has said. And now they're freaking. What do we say? What do we tell these guys? Well, Kim just bailed. She resigned and said, I'm done. So now you're turning a hot seat. And you're going to go back to whoever you answer to and go, I can't take this, man. They're going to be coming for you. You better keep your mouth shut or we're going to come for you. There's no other explanation. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. You get asked a question, yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, I'm going to resign as well. I didn't do this right. I didn't do the job right. And none of my staff did the job right. But lie like this? It's crazy. Good documentary, by the way, The Great Awakening. It started out as a 10-part documentary. Yeah. I'm surprised the trail of bodies hasn't shown up yet. Good point. It's scary to think how evil Christopher Wray actually is, can and has ordered people wasted and can still sleep at night. Next level evil. Yeah. I mean, people have to understand, our government does that all the time. Let's not be naive here. There's people who get the buttons pushed on them around the world. We'll never know. The black helicopters and the guys come slipping down a rope and you're done. Bye. We're gone. We'll never know. We will never know how many people basically our government does things to. But this was a presidential candidate, a little bit different. This is a big sham. The direct orders from the tyrant JB was clear. I don't know. Maybe it's above him. After all, whoever's pushing the buttons got him to walk away from the election. He didn't want to go. So obviously, the puppet Biden wasn't the one doing it because somebody's above him. Not incompetence, orchestrated. So you're saying it was a MIHOP. I hope I'm wrong, but wait and see. Yeah. Let's see here. Good show, Barry. Thank you. All right, so we got one more to go over and get you guys out of here, and let's talk about this. This is another senator who comes firing at this guy. This is Senator Mike Lee. Mike Lee didn't pull any punches either.
Why was President Trump allowed to take the stage at 6:02 p.m., exactly 17 minutes after multiple suspicious person reports were provided, complete with photos and information suggesting that the assailant had a rangefinder, something that ordinary people don't use in this kind of circumstance?
Senator, again, it was suspicion, not weapon, or there was never communication of that there was an individual with a gun or threat or other bad intentions.
How many suspicious person reports did you receive that day?
I'll get back to you on the exact number, but there were other individuals that came to the attention of law enforcement that day.
Would President Biden ever be allowed on stage under similar circumstances with an unresolved set of multiple suspicious person reports provided, including indicating that there was a rangefinder involved?
Great question. Great question. Would Dementia Joe be allowed to go on stage anywhere that the Secret Service was protecting him if they knew there was a suspicious character out there?
Senator, I can tell you that a suspicious person on the outer perimeter with local law enforcement attempting to locate would happen, but I would need more information as far as whether or not we would allow the president to go on or off. Again, for us, it comes down to weapon, a potential threat. Is the individual carrying an IED? Is there a weapon? Is there some?
How would you know if he's just suspicious? At this point, you don't know if he has an IED or what he's carrying, a hand grenade. He's suspicious. You haven't confronted him yet. So you're telling me right there that you would probably stop him if it was Biden.
Other factor that now ramps up our attention to
Understood.
let's let's
Understood.
hold off on this.
If there were 8 shell casings found next to the assailant's body, but he was neutralized after the first shot, where did those other shots come from?
Ooh. Ooh.
Where did the other shots go?
As far as the assailant's shooting?
Yes. So did the assailant get out 8 shots, or were there shell casings left from the day before? Where did they come from?
The shooter, Senator, we believe fired 8 rounds. We had the shooting reconstruction team go out there for a period of days and collect all that. So we have bullet holes, bullet fragmentation, all taken back, and we're still putting together the trajectory and ballistic analysis, although we do have fragments of the bullets, and bullets have been collected in the distance from the shooter's weapon.
Gotcha. It's my understanding there was a sniper team assigned to a window with complete overlook, complete view of the roof, the same rooftop, sloped rooftop where the shots were fired. It's also my understanding, according to some whistleblower accounts, that post was abandoned. What can you tell me about that? Why was it abandoned?
So I saw that from the colonel's testimony, sir, and it's something that I've asked, and our mission assurance is getting to the bottom of. And there were two-man counter-sniper teams from the locals that were in that AGR building.
And so at some point...
So he doesn't know. 17 days later, you don't know why they just happened to walk away.
They just left?
That I don't have an answer for you on that, Senator, but it seems to me that if even one of them left, there should have been remaining.
Should have been. It's your job to protect the president or president-to-be. And you don't know why these guys just happened to not be there? They just decided to go eat donuts? You should have been there? 17 days later, you don't know why these 2 guys weren't where they're supposed to be. 17 days later.
Some additional eyes left in that building.
Yep. That seems like something that maybe should be one of the very first questions you address. I'm actually surprised that you don't know that already, and I'd ask that you submit to us in writing what you learn as soon as you learn it. Will you commit to that?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me about, well, let me just state this way. Multiple requests were made by Trump's protective detail and by Trump's campaign team to the Secret Service for additional resources. I'm told that those were denied. And as I recall, the Secret Service spokesperson initially denied that such
That's not my music. Somebody had put the music under this clip, so sorry.
requests were made and denied. Why not tell the truth from the outset? What were they trying to do there?
So, Senator, I don't think there was any intention to mislead.
Seems like a pretty material fact, doesn't it?
I saw that report. Go ahead, Senator.
Will you commit to me that you will submit to us in writing what requests were made by whom and to whom and when they were denied?
I will, sir.
Okay. Look, at the end of the day, we're looking at a situation in which, at a minimum, people knew that this guy had a gun at least 2 minutes before the shooting happened. I want to know what you can tell me about what happened during that final 2-minute period, where a whole bunch of people in the crowd saw and were shouting, "He's got a gun." During that 2-minute period, perhaps at the beginning of it, the local police started to climb the rooftop, and there was at least 30 seconds after which local police were able to personally observe the shooter with a gun, had the gun pointed at him.
Here.
What happened during that time period, and why on earth was President Trump not removed from the stage at that moment?
So again, Senator, the reason why President Trump was not removed was, again, we did not have anything more than locals working an issue at the 3 o'clock. Wasn't determined as to whether or not it was the same individual or not, and there was no report of
the same individual as what?
The same suspicious individual.
He didn't even know who it was. He didn't know who it was. There was nobody communicating. They didn't know what was going on.
Right, but we've left the category of suspicious individual at that point. You've got a guy with a gun on a rooftop 136 yards away from the stage. You know that he's got a gun at that.
Yeah, he's no longer suspicious. He has now entered the area of being a threat. A little bit different. Now it's elevated.
Point. What happened during that time period that did not result in President Trump, his protective detail being notified of that, and him immediately being removed from the situation?
Senator, what I will say, and then I'll
Pretty simple. You found out this guy's got a gun. And what happened? Why wasn't he removed? Eep, op, orc, I have to get back to you. Don't know. 17 days later, you don't know.
Turn it over to Deputy Director Abate. No information regarding a weapon on the roof was ever passed to our personnel.
Wow. So this guy, just so you understand what he just said, I mean, I'm sure you understood, he just said, we didn't know this guy had a gun. The entire time he's walking around, coming up to the building, shimmying up the roof like a ninja, and you didn't know he had a gun.
How is that even possible? Do you want to comment to that?
Senator, again, I believe that information, and this is probably something my colleague can expound on, information that was in law enforcement, local law enforcement channels, but did not cross over and make it to Secret Service awareness.
Unbelievable.
Senator, just to clarify the timeline, so the individual was first seen by law enforcement on the roof at about 6:08. We're still working to perfect the timeline based on the radio comms and all that. It wasn't until at 6:11:03 seconds, the officer saw him and called out his arm. That was the first sighting where he had the rifle on the roof.
The shots came out at 6:11. So you didn't see anyone with a rifle until you heard the shots. That's basically what he's saying. Nobody in the Secret Service knew anything about this, there being a gun, until the shots were taken. All of the people, all of the agents, all of the police, everybody out there on that field doing security, nobody saw the gun until the shots happened. 6:11. He just said that. You believe that?
And then
and that was relayed to the Secret Service Command Center at that
My
point.
understanding is no, Secret Service, it was not relayed to them. It's a narrower time frame, though. It's probably about maybe up to half a minute between the time he's seen with the rifle and when the shots are fired.
Wow.
But there's still time. At that point, if there were an open channel of communication in which they were able to tell him, he's got a gun, take him out. You could still take President Trump off the stage. You could have him duck. You could have the shooter neutralized. Do you not have a channel of communication by which they can say, gun, take him out?
So again, Senator,
I'm going to lie to you and pretend like I don't know because I can't tell you the truth here. Hey, you got a tape of the comms for that day? Can we get the audio tape for the communication so we can hear what was being said? Well, Senator,
that information stayed in local channels and did not make it over to Secret Service.
Did they not consider that relevant? You're saying that the local police didn't consider that relevant enough to pass along to the Secret Service?
Sir, I think that they were in the midst of dealing with a very critical situation, and they articulated that over the radio, as I understand it. However, it was never relayed over to us.
You buying this? Because I'm just going to put it out here. I'm going to ask you, you buying this? Because nobody's buying this. Nobody. This is impossible. It's incredulous. It makes absolutely no sense. These are the Keystone Cops. This is supposed to be an elite law enforcement department. They're supposed to be the best. They cover Netanyahu. They cover other world leaders. Zelensky when he comes here. And you're telling me that is what we got going on? That's what you came to a televised public hearing with? Mike Lee, none of them bought it. None of them bought what happened. And this is...
Why on earth did the snipers assigned to the second-story window with the clear view of that infamous sloped roof, a clear view of where the shooter stood and tried to kill President Trump? Why was that manned initially with snipers, with sharpshooters, and then abandoned at some point before the shooting took place? Now look, these are and should be obvious and easy basic questions for the Secret Service to answer. And they have had no fewer than 17 days since the attack to answer these questions. These are questions that they should have started asking and probably should have been able to answer within 24 hours. And yet, again and again and again, what I heard, what my colleagues heard, what you heard if you were watching, was we're looking into it. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it.
It doesn't cut it for anybody. It doesn't cut it for me. I'm sure it doesn't cut it for you. It's impossible to think that this is the position we are in at this point. You have to conclude at this point that we're being lied to. And we're being lied to openly, brazenly, without any care of repercussions. Gotta lie. I'm covering for somebody. That's just where I am. There's nothing I can say right now. We'll get back to you. Bojangles said, when I was a kid, we put cans on a string and talked to each other. Maybe we could just set them up with a set so they could communicate. You're guarding possibly the next president, hopefully, of the United States, and you're like, oh, my radio? I can't hear them. They're on a different channel. They want you to believe that. They want you to believe that they didn't have any capacity to speak to the local and state police. The question I was asked is, could the local and state talk? Could the local and state police, they're in two different agencies, were they able to hear the radio? Were they on a different channel? Again, having done security, I can tell you, when you get your call sheet, okay, this is the time you show up. You're going to be standing here. You're going to be doing this. Hey, and over here, turn the page. This is audio. We're going to be on channel 9, and we're going to listen to all communications. And on channel 11 is all supervisors. So that you, if you're on 11 and you hear there's a guy with a gun on the roof, you can just click your button, go to channel 9, and broadcast it to everybody. I ain't lying. Anyone who's a cop who's done security will tell you the truth. You may have a different channel for certain people, but you also have the ability to turn your dial, and now it's digital. You probably can just click a button and have an all comms channel. Everybody, I'm putting it on an alert. There's a guy on the roof with a gun. Everybody hears it. You start running. You start doing whatever you got to do. But there's too many holes here. Hey, there's supposed to be some guys in the window. They just disappeared. What are they? Shazam? What do you mean they disappeared? Where'd they go? Who are they? How did they turn into Casper? What do you mean they just weren't there? These are cops. These aren't some guys that, Paul Blart Rent-A-Cop. These aren't guys that, see a pretty chick and this pretty woman and just decide to walk away. Hey, baby. No, these are state and local police. And you're telling senators, well, they just disappeared. Where'd they go? I don't know. 17 days later, you don't know where the two guys that were in that room, where they went. How do you not know 17 days later where they went? Have you even talked to them? What are their names? Can we talk to them? Because they're not your employees. They are the state's employees. Oh, by the way, they've already been talking to the news and they've told us you're full of it. They've already done their interviews all over the place and going, hey man, these guys didn't react. It wasn't us. I've seen the interviews. You've probably seen the interviews. It's on you, Secret Service. Everybody is pointing at you and you're going to these meetings and just saying, oh well, shit happens. Next. Unbelievable. Oh, come on, Ben. Where'd that go? That went too fast. Garden Gal. Oh, come on, Barry. Didn't you hear? The Secret Service didn't show up for the briefing. Oh, so they didn't get the call sheets. None of it makes sense, man. None of it. Yeah, this is a good comment here. Extra prayers for President Trump. Randall says, I'm sitting here listening and just shaking my head in total disgust and unbelief. How in the hell can this happen if it weren't let to happen? My job, bring you the information. Your job, assimilate it, think on it, pray on it, and go, what the hell is happening here? Obviously, Trump knows some things we don't. We know guys like Dan Bongino and Corey Mills, they know things. These guys are lying. They're lying on purpose, and everybody can see it at this point. They were counting on him not being here, not sitting there. Obviously, they don't serve Jesus. No, whoever their masters are, that's who they're protecting, and that's where we are as a country at this point. It's so sad. Investigate this guy. 6 ways to Sunday. Buy new house, paid off mortgage, new cars. Cheeto was passy. This was point man planning the hit. Yeah, obviously at this point. Too many coincidences is not a coincidence. Think about that, what you just said. How many things had to happen perfectly? I mean, he had to go he got his dad's rifle. He decides to go to the rally. He flies a drone. Wasn't hiding anything. Flying a drone. Let me see what I can get. He was live streaming it, which we're live streaming right now. Means there's a record of it somewhere. Okay, I can see on here where the stage is, and I can see everything. And then I'm gonna walk through with the rangefinder. Oh yeah, let me see that. Okay, I got that about right. Let me check the wind. Everything had to be perfect. Let me get up on this roof, because I know the guys who are looking at this roof are no longer looking. They just happened to look away or disappear just as he was crawling like a ninja on the roof. Just happened at that moment that those guys weren't there. Just the sheer luck of him crawling out on this roof. Whew. All of this had to happen in order to be what almost was a tragedy. Well, it was a tragedy. Somebody got killed. We were supposed to see this man's head explode on live television. They took what looked to be a perfect shot. They took, at the opportune time, with live television, covering it everywhere, people live streaming it on YouTube, and they were hoping that this guy's head would explode on national television. A bullet of that caliber at that speed from that kind of a rifle would have just basically decapitated him. It would have split his head in half. Blew out the back of his brain. I don't mean to be that graphic, but I need you to understand what the intent was here. It wasn't to kill him. It wasn't to shoot him in the chest and hopefully that, he'll bleed out later. They knew he had a vest on. So they knew not to take a body shot. He's standing out there in the middle of a field, 130 yards, 140 yards away, with a bright red hat. You can't miss that shot. 130, 140 yards away with a high-powered rifle with a guy wearing a friggin' red hat. And if it weren't for God, the ultimate destruction of our country would have happened just like that in front of millions of people watching, and that the trauma would have been unbearable. You think what's happening in Venezuela right now would have been bad? What do you think would have happened if we all saw that live on television? And now they're scrambling to figure out, what do we say? Who do we say? How are we going to blame? They can't. In order to buy their story, you have to believe so much BS, it's impossible. Just from what you've heard tonight, string it together. This kid, 20 years old, Lone Ranger, gets on I heard a bike, now we're finding out it was a car, with bombs in the car, decides to just go out into this field, takes drone pictures of the stage, does all the reconnaissance he needs, takes a viewfinder, sets up his gun, and takes shots at specifically the time that the people who had Overwatch just happened to not be there. Here's a question. The two guys that were in there, that were supposed to be in there, and then they just absolutely disappeared, when they heard the shots, were they on the grounds? Were they anywhere around? Did they move in to try and neutralize the shooter? Did they do anything, or were they really disappeared? Did they leave? Nobody's saying it. Okay, look, they made a mistake. They both went for donuts at the same time. What happened when those two guys that were in that room, what happened to those two guys when they heard all hell breaking loose? Anybody want to tell us? Who are those two guys? Can we talk to them? Can they get on TV? Can we talk to what's going on? Nothing. Zippo. Be afraid. Digest this. Decide, is it my hop or lie hop? Made it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose? There can't be at this point any other explanation, because it requires you to assume too many things just happen to fall in place at the right time. Too many. If it was one thing, it's like, oh, yeah, this guy got knocked out. He took the butt of the gun and knocked the cop out. Okay, that makes sense. He crawled up on the roof like a ninja, and nobody saw him except the people who were taking pictures. Nobody. Where were when you've seen a video of the people, the Trump supporters pointing up and saying there's a guy in the roof. There's a guy up on the roof. Why was nobody, where was the security then? Hey, listen, there's a guy on the roof. The people just told me. Get Trump down. Get him down. Nothing. Too many things had to happen exactly as planned. It was almost, dare I say, military proficient. Except this kid, actually, God made him miss. Anyway, that's what they're saying. All the dominoes were perfectly placed. Absolutely. I like what Joe says here. There were never two guys in that room. Nobody was assigned to that position. They haven't showed any logs. They haven't showed anything. Where are those two guys? I know some people have showed pictures of muzzle fire coming out of it. I don't know. But there's too many things. So it's not conspiratorial. It's not like we're making stuff up. We just don't have the information. Once we have all the information, then you can decide. But right now, it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and it's adding up to that. So I'm gonna let you guys go tonight. I'm gonna let you dwell on that. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and
come on, show some love and click that like button.
Hit that like button. Get people in here. I need to grow this channel, especially if I'm going to be doing this 7 o'clock show. Got to do it. And then tomorrow we've got the rally at 5:30. Yeah, 5:30 I go live, so we'll have that as well. Going to give out some cash tomorrow. We're going to give out some prizes. So make sure you get here. And one last thing before I go tonight. Earlier I had put up a poll, and let me see if I can get that poll. Let me pull up this poll. Poll. And the poll I put up, let's see if I can bring it up on this thing here. Yeah, I can pull it up. All right. So I put this poll up earlier, and it said, are you interested in seeing weekly videos and how the election map and polls are looking? We've had so far 3.5 thousand people who have voted on this, and it's 80-20. So in that regard, the people have spoken. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be putting up I'm probably going to do it once a week. Let's say Friday we do the polling video. And we're going to go over all the polls, and I'll tell you the big thing that they don't tell you in polls. They never mention it. Never mention it. Do you know what the most important thing to look at in a poll is? Not the numbers. The aggregate numbers don't mean anything. The number one thing to look at when you're looking at polls, and for some reason they never talk about, is usually on the very last page in very small print, and that's called methodology. If I tell you that Kamala's up by 6 points or Trump's up by 6 points, that's all they talk about. They don't tell you how the numbers came about. So the first video I'm going to do is I'm going to dig in and show you methodology. I'm going to show you how pollsters come up with the numbers. There are some who don't release that information, which that in itself I would never report on. If I can't see how you got to that number, then your data isn't worth reporting. That's why there's things called internal polls versus what you see on TV or in the news. Because unless you can prove to me your methodology, which is a big Greek word that shows how'd you do this? Where'd this number come from? That's what we're going to look at. In the first video, we're going to go through methodology of some of these polls, and we're going to look into it. And what you're going to see is something nobody on television shows you. They never speak to methodology. And at that point, that's some more red pilling. That's going to take you further down this rabbit hole. And when you start seeing this data, you're going to be able to pull it apart and click a button on a website and go, this is BS. This is total crap. Barry showed me. I know what to look at this point. I can tell very quickly whether this is a poll I can put any credence in whatsoever. And when I show it to you, those of you, I don't know if you guys have seen methodology, but those of you guys who will see it will be like, I can't believe, why are they putting this crap on TV? Because they're trying to brainwash you. Know the difference. Know real data versus fake data. And I'm going to show you how to dig into an actual poll and find out. Thanks, Tommy. Keep pushing, America. Yeah, we're gonna do this, and then that's something, you know, basically you guys, polls lie depending on who is. What was that thing? Was it Shakespeare? I don't know who said it. It's not the votes that count, it's the people who count the votes. Well, it's the same thing with polls. It's not the polls that matter, it's the numbers and how they came to that conclusion. And that's something they never had. Oh, today's poll looks like Kamala's up by 3 points. What the hell does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? How did you come up with that number? Oh, no, we can't tell you that. We're the media. Plus, I'm a talking head, and I don't really know. Somebody went ahead and gave me a sheet to read off of. Oh, in the latest poll, Trump's up by 4 points. But Kamala is surging. And you read it. How is it happening? Where did the numbers come from? When was it taken? How long ago? Who did you sample? I'm going to go over all that stuff with you guys, and you're going to be able to go through it and check it out. I'd like reading this comment. This guy is watching the video and he's pissed off and he's like, stop talking, do something about it. I'm sick of this crap. You talk and talk and talk and nothing gets done. Pathetic. Why can't you tell the truth? They don't do it. They refuse to tell people what's really going on. All right, guys, I'm going to go grab something to eat, spend some time with the wife. Thank you very much for tuning in. Maybe I'll do the poll thing tomorrow. If you guys want to do the poll, go vote on that poll. Leave a comment. You want me to do it? No, I can't do it tomorrow. Stop. Tomorrow is the rally. So Thursday is when I'll do it.